committees. The business of running private schools has become an all-commerce affair with the motive of making profits by the operators without regard to standards and quality. By putting the committees together, the Excellency has shown that you are a leader with an eagle's eye and that you are determined to give quality education to our people. Therefore, sir, we promise to work very hard and honestly too to enable you fulfill your promise to your people.
Our correspondent reports that the committee have 1 month to complete its assignment. And if you just tuned in, you're listening to the World News here on Today95.1 FM, Voice of the People. After the break, we have more news, the foreign stories, and then sports stories. Stay tuned.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Welcome back. You're still listening to the World News on Today 95.1 FM, your premium talk radio station. And now moving on to other stories. This report here says 2 warring cult groups in Emoha local government area of Rivers State have embraced peace and promised to stop fighting. Members of the cult groups also pleaded for forgiveness and asked to be involved in the development of the local government.
So I appreciate Chief Honorable Sergeant Awusi courage. Someone else advised us and we agreed, and that's why we are here. At the same venture, I also appreciate the Royal Highnesses, the chiefs, the youths, the women leaders, and the women at the same time. I have to use this opportunity to also brief the entire Emoha people. Let us not encourage people to have that opportunity to humiliate each other. Let us use the opportunity to empower the youths.
One of the facilitators of the peace move, Chief Sergeant Awuse, who spoke on behalf of the chiefs of Emoha Kingdom, said they are happy for the huge steps taken by the repentant cultists.
Let there be peace. Let there be cessation of cultism in this place. We don't want anymore. We don't want any more cultism in any of our local government. We are tired. We don't want. I don't want anybody to take the activity we are doing today for granted. I want to thank all of you. Those of you who will be useful to yourself, this system will help you to be useful to yourself. We will do our best to support you. We will support you. Some of us are already there. We will do anything to make sure. We will do everything to ensure that you are rehabilitated.
In the meantime, authorities of the local government have directed security operatives to arrest and prosecute anyone in the act of crime. Our correspondent Sandra Kenneth reports that more than 100 members of the various cult groups were present at the peace accord. And now unknown gunmen have attacked motorists around the Emoha axis of the east-west road with 3 persons sustaining bullet wounds while some cars were damaged. Our correspondent gathered that unknown gunmen had blocked the motorists who were returning to Port Harcourt and opened fire on them. It took the intervention of a mobile policeman who is armed inside one of the vehicles to scare the hoodlums away. This comes few hours after some youths in the area renounced their membership of 2 major cult groups in the area. And on the foreign scene, Ghana has shelved plans to spend $200 million on a new parliament building following a public outcry over the cost. This came after an online campaign by cultural figures and civil society under the banner "Drop That Chamber" drew widespread support that the West African nation had more pressing needs. According to officials, the project was required to expand on the capacity of the current 275-seat facility and would be funded by a loan from the Indian government. The parliament, however, has said it had halted the project due to the backlash ahead of a planned street protest on Saturday. But those planning the protest said they would still hold it unless Parliament released an official resolution dropping the project. And now a high-profile British government minister has called for the deadly Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo to be declared a global health emergency. The International Development Secretary, Rory Stewart, who made the appeal during a visit to Butembo, one of the areas worst affected by the virus, said the move would help to unlock desperately needed funds. Though more than 1,500 people have died in DR Congo since the outbreak began nearly a year ago, the World Health Organization has still refused to categorize it as an international emergency. And in sports, former world number one Simona Halep has ended 15-year-old Coco Gauff's remarkable fairy tale run at Wimbledon with a straight set defeat. Seventh seed Halep beat the American teenager in the qualifier 6-3, 6-3 to advance to the quarterfinals, where she will play China's Zhang Shuai. It will be recalled that Gauff had beaten Venus Williams, Magdalena Rybarikova, and Polona Hegog on her way to the last 16. Gauff had been beaten to become the youngest Wimbledon quarterfinalist since fellow 15-year-old American Jennifer Capriati in 1991, I beg your pardon. And from entertainment, veteran Nigerian rapper Lotana Udezwe, also known as Big Lou, is said to be currently down with a kidney ailment. Reports say Big Lou is at a nursing home in California undergoing dialysis and placed on oxygen. Big Lou is diagnosed with end-stage renal disease in July 2018 and has been on dialysis 3 times per week since January. He's also undergone 3 surgeries. In a video shared on his GoFundMe page, Big Lou said his health condition has turned his life upside down, adding that he has lost his job, house, car, and medical insurance while calling on the general public to help him out. And that's how we end the news. Well, here is a summary of our major stories. Melek Yari is taking over as the new GMD of NNPC. The Rivers State Elections Petition Tribunal has dismissed the petition of the AAC and its governorship candidate, Biokwa Maboawara, challenging the victory of Governor Nyesom Wike. And Governor Nyesom Wike has inaugurated a committee for the accreditation and approval of private basic schools in Rivers State. On the foreign scene, you heard that Ghana has shelved a plan to spend $200 million for a new parliamentary house following a public outcry. And that was the news, edited by Chinedu Iwuna. For comments and inquiries, you can call 0815-341-8657 or 0814-434-3502. You can send your emails to news@todayfmlive.com or you read our stories online at www.todayfmlive.com. And that's our package for you this morning. Thank you for your time, and bye-bye for now.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
All right, we have a special guest from Endless Properties in our studios. Please, what do you have for us today?
Yes, thank you. My name is Engineer Pera from Endless Properties and Development Limited. In Endless Properties and Development Limited company, we sell land, we sell houses, we sell land for agriculture, we sell land for industries, and we sell land for houses. For those of us that are still paying house rent, you're still paying student school fees, I say you're still living under financial pressure. So run down to my office at number 5 First Artillery, opposite Stanbic IBTC Bank, behind Hana Fast Food. You see the one-story building, painted blue and green. That is our office. You must become landlord, you must become landlady. Right now, we have brought a special promo that, irrespective of your salary, you must buy land with our company. And all our land is buy, build, and parking. A lot of people are already building. You can buy the one at Omawa. This Omawa is just immediately after Dangote. You see our estate, and opposite Peseta University, the first gate owned by Salvation Ministry University, at the major road that takes you to Owerri, that takes you to Lagos, just very close to the airport. That one is just 900,000 naira. Last week we give over 83 people their land, and this week too we're also going to give all the people that are buying this week their land. So run out to my office to buy that one. Is very, very powerful. You can also buy the one at Eneka. This Eneka is for those people that say my house loan is 200,000, 250,000. Please, for hearing my voice, don't pay that money again. Bring that money to my office. Let's give you a land. This land is buy, build, and parking. A lot of people are saying Eneka is flooded. This land is a table land. It's not flooded. It's a very powerful place. Over 300 people are already building. That one is 2.5 million, but now you're paying 1,500,000 naira. And you have the one at Airport Road, immediately after the international airport on a major road. You get that one. That one is 900,000 naira. You can buy the one at Afam. You can also buy the one in Chokocho. You can buy the one at Tigrita. You can buy the one at Lingbu Woji. In fact, my people, if you don't have this money, you can pay small. So what you need to do, just call my line 080-378-98547. I take it again, 080-378-98547, or call the Airtel line 081 294-2727467. 081-294-27467. Or call the Glow line 080-748-10202. 080-748-10202. Or check us on our website www.endlessgroup.com. Or as you're hearing my voice on your Facebook, just open your phone on your Facebook, type Endless Properties, or your Instagram, your Twitter, you'll see us there. Just send us a message. If you want to see this land, I always tell people this is a rainy season. For you to know if the land exists and if the land is good, you need to see this land. We advise people see our land before you pay. So call my line, let's schedule for inspection. If you're ready to see it now, once you come to my office, we take you to the site, you see it. Another thing people are asking, can I pay small? You can start with 100,000 naira, you achieve your housing dream. Another thing that people are saying, is this your land free from government? Greater Port Harcourt, my people, all our land, we are satisfied with Greater Port Harcourt, with state government, with federal government. We are not just selling the land to you, we are selling the value and benefit. So if you're buying our land, you have to have a rest of mind, because a lot of people are already living in our estate. And when you come to our off state, you buy land, I want to give you all your land documents, like C of O will be given to you, give you a survey plan that will be duly registered in the Ministry of Land and Survey. I'm also going to give a deed of conveyance. We're going to give you a allocation letter. We're going to give you official receipt. You're not paying for bush entry. You're not paying for machine ground. You're not paying for faces development. I tell people, Copper bought the land from us, 480,000 naira, just about 4 years ago. Right now, they are begging her for 50 million naira. That's the power of real estate. So my people, for hearing my voice, anywhere you are, run down to my office at number 5, Rumogba by First Artillery on Major Abba Port Harcourt Road, just opposite the Fambic IBTC Bank. We are sharing face with the Hana Fast. You see the one-story building painted blue and green. That is our office. You can buy the one in Lagos, the one at Ibeju Lekki, the one at Lakowe, the one at Badagry, the one at Lake Yaja. You can also buy the one at Babalada in Abuja. So call my line 080-378-98547. 080-378-98547. Or call the Airtel line 081-294-27467. 081-294-27467. Or my Glow line 080-748-10202. 080-748-10202. Remember, your first house.
Hi, Mommy.
Hello, my love. Missing me already?
Yes, Mommy. When are you coming?
Aw, next week, darling. And I'll be bringing delicious meals for you and all your friends.
Okay, Mommy. I can't wait to see you. Love you.
Love you too.
She says she's bringing food next week.
Hey! All of you, keep quiet. Oh yeah, fetch my water now. I can't be late for assembly.
Yes, SP.
Tunde, you're exempted.
Good taste creates great memories. Relive the memory of delicious meals cooked with Mr. Chef's Seasoning Cubes. Available in multiple variants. Mr. Chef's Seasoning Cubes are available at your nearest market or superstore. Mr. Chef's Seasoning Cubes, creating delightful memories.
Akas, where you pack all these plenty loads they go with your family?
They go Dubai.
What did they happen for Dubai?
You never hear about Odibola Invest and Travel Promo?
Odibola Invest and Travel Promo?
Yes, so that one be say, if you buy 5 plots of land for inside Odibola Quiet Heaven Layout Phase 2, you don't qualify instant to go Dubai with me.
You mean say 5 plots of land? Me and my family, we don't see Dubai be that?
Yes, so buy 5 plots for 1.5 million naira each. All expense paid. You not go pay 1 naira at all. And even you, if you buy 1 plot, you don't qualify for raffle draw to go Dubai with me and my family. All the experience, now me and your family go enjoy them together. Mudiada.
Bobby, make I rush quick, make it not pass me and my family.
Oh yeah, make this opportunity not pass you and your family by you. Visit their office waiting for Yenwale. Instagram layout of Tombia Extension, GRA Phase 2 Port Harcourt, or call Joy for 0701-236-4510. 0701-236-4510. Make you not miss this opportunity with Akas Baba and family. Terms and condition applies. Dubai. Yeah, I call.
Now when they ball, they go Dubai.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
What a goal! Hangs it up for Ronaldo. Oh, my shadow!
Experience the glorious goals rush. The heated verbal jabs and even moments of madness. Experience the sensational swings, strokes and shots, the moments of victory and despair. Experience lights out on a majestic night in Singapore and a whole lot more.
On your premium talk news and sports radio station.
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Listen to Sports Attack every weekday from 7:30 a.m. and Today Sports Live after the news update at 3 p.m. Stay tuned on Saturdays and Sundays for a bumper edition of Today Sports Live from 1 to 6 p.m. Experience sports in its entirety on your premium talk news and sports radio station. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
My name is Ese Brume, Commonwealth and African long jump champion. You're listening to Sports Attack on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Don't touch that dial.
A very good morning to you all, and welcome to another thrilling edition of Sports Attack, reaching you live from the studios of your premium sports radio station. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. It's Tuesday, the 9th of July, 2019, and my name is Dr. Skoki, the sports diva. I'm here to take you through major stories making the rounds in the world of sports. So don't go anywhere. The show will take full swing after this time out.
My name is Simidele Adiagbo, the first ever Nigerian skeleton athlete to compete in the Winter Olympics. To keep tabs on trending sports stories across the globe, keep listening to Sports Attack on your premium talk, news, and sports radio station. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. You will be glad you did.
Let's begin with athletics this morning, where bearing any last-minute change, the duo of Blessing Okabare and Divine Oduduru are expected to compete at the Gulai Estevan Memorial Meet in Bearing any last-minute change, the duo of Blessing Okabare and Divine Oduduru are expected to compete at the Gulai Estevan Memorial Meet in Budapest, Hungary today. Both Oduduru and Okabare are on the professional list of athletes confirmed for the meeting released on Monday, which was yesterday. While Oduduru will be making his professional debut, Okabare is seeking her first ever consecutive hat-trick of wins following her inspiring victories at the Mohammed VI International Athletics meeting in Rabat, Morocco, and a Profitane Classics in Stanford, California, USA last month. Okabare, who is listed to partake in women's 200 meters, will be facing Shoani Mila Yubi, and that hasn't lost a race in over a year, and world silver medalist Tao Lu. The NCAA champion Oduduru will compete in the men's 200 against USA speed machine Christian Coleman, while who is a world champion, while Ramil Luev is a rising 200 meter sensational Aaron Brown. And over now to Taekwondo we go this morning, where 24 Taekwondo athletes identified at the National Senior Open Trials have begun camping in Abuja as part of preparations for the 12th African Game, the Nigerian Taekwondo Federation, NTF, said. Chika Chukwumerije, an NTF board member, said that the athletes would be supervised by 4 coaches in the build-up program. Chukwumerije said the athletes, including defending African champion Uzo Amaka Otuadima in the 73 kg category and Ifioluwa Ajayi in the 63 kg. He listed others also to include this Elizabeth Ayanacho, who is in the category of 67 kg, Commonwealth gold medalist Josephine Esuko, who is 46 kg, and also 2019 Nigeria Open gold medalist Peter Ituku, also of 80 kg. Chukwumerije added that they had proved their mettle at the recently held National Taekwondo Senior Open Trials for the African Games. And according to him, he said the group is made up of competitive athletes who have convincingly proved their skills by defending their title over time in major national and international tournaments. The Federation board member said Nigeria will feature in the Taekwondo competition of the 12th African Game in Rabat, Morocco from August 19 to August 31st. And to para-powerlifting, we'll go this morning where Nigeria para-powerlifters are already in Kazakhstan to take part in the World Para-Powerlifting Competition tagged Astana 2019. The contingent made up of officials and 15 athletes, both male and female, in different categories, will compete in the mandatory championship, which also serves as part of qualifiers for the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics game in Japan. Speaking before the Nigeria contingent boarded their flight at the Muratala Mohammed Airport, Lagos, President of the Nigeria Para-Powerlifting Federation, Queen Ubo, said the athletes have prepared well and are going to do Nigeria proud by winning gold medals at the championship. According to her, she said our target is to win drug-free gold medals. And as we are going with 15 athletes, Nigeria should expect 15 gold medals. And to wrestling this morning, we'll go where the Nigerian Wrestling Federation has expressed deep gratitude and appreciation to the Executive Governor of Bayelsa State, Henry Saraki Dixon, for sponsoring the recently concluded 3rd Governor Dixon National Wrestling Classics, which took place in Yenagoa. The NWF also praised the efforts of the medical team, the referees, and other hard officials who contributed immensely to the successful staging of the classics. The tournament, which serves as qualifier for the 12th African Game in Morocco next month, came to an end on Tuesday, with host Bayelsa emerging overall winners ahead of Delta and all those states who finished 2nd and 3rd respectively. Speaking on behalf of the Federation, NWF President Daniel Igali thanked Governor Dixon for his continued support of wrestling in Nigeria, which has helped the country win lots of laurels in both continental and global championships.
On behalf of the Nigeria Wrestling Federation, I want to commend the efforts of Governor Dixon, particularly in the sponsorship of the just concluded 3rd Governor Dixon National Wrestling Classics, which also doubled as qualifiers for the Africa Games in Morocco. Governor Dixon is an avid and staunch supporter of the Nigeria wrestling team. He has shown this by his penchant for sponsoring the team to several continental and oftentimes even world championships. At the last Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, Governor Dixon hosted the team with financial rewards, which was unprecedented in the history of Nigeria.
That was the president of the Nigerian Wrestling Federation, Daniel Igali. And over now to basketball, where Nigeria's under 16 basketball team head coach Fubara Oyanabo is not carried away by the massive victory against host Cape Verde after securing a 64-39 points win at the FIBA Under-16 African Championship. Fubara said all attention has now been shifted to the 3rd game today against Angola, who defeated 3-time champions Egypt by 61-86 points. The coach praised his boys for playing to instructions, which gave them the massive victory, which he said had boosted their confidence ahead of the game against Angola. The Port Harcourt-based coach said the tactics to be adopted will be uniquely tailored to the oppositions, while assuring Nigeria of an improved performance by the lads when they file out for their 3rd game or at the ongoing FIBA Under-16 African Championship. Having admitted that the journey to the final seems far, Kubara said the only way to appreciate the Nigerian Basketball Federation is to qualify for the 2019 FIBA Under-17 World Championship in Bulgaria. And in a related development, Mali's Sports Minister Hamani Niang is set to become the new president of the Federation of International Basketball Association, FIBA, after the association announced that he is the only one standing for the position. Niang, the former FIBA African president, said and a member of the executive committee will assume the position unopposed at the governing bodies Congress in Beijing on August 29 and 30 on the eve of the World Cup in China. The Malian official will replace Argentina's Horacio Muratori, FIBA president since 2019. FIBA operates a continental rotation system for its presidency, and it is the turn of Africa to hold the top office at the organization. He is able to serve a single 4-term before the presidency rotates to Asia in 2023. And to tennis, we'll go where Roger Federer has spoken of the 2-year process to find a date to play Rafael Nadal in Cape Town, saying it's a proper thrill finally to play in his mother's homeland. The exhibition between the tennis legends will take place at Cape Town Stadium on February 7th, staged under the banner of Project Federal Foundation, which is involved in charitable work in Africa. It will be preceded by a double match in which Federal will partner Microsoft founder Bill Gates, and Nadal will play alongside South African comedian Trevor Noah. Federer described the match in Africa as a dream come true when announcing the exhibition last week, and he said subsequently at Wimbledon, after defeating Lucas Pouille in the third round on Saturday, that it took him 2 years to find a date. Let's hear from him.
It took me 2 years to find a date, but we have it. I was trying to be as little as possible annoying to the guy as I could have been, but still I had to force the issue at some stage. It's like, Rafa, please give me a date, you know? Because for me, anything's possible. For me, it's a huge priority. It's always one thing I wanted to do. I've always wanted to play in South Africa. I've already played tennis because I've barely been on vacation to South Africa. So for me, to play there now, it's a proper thrill. Of course, we hope to have a big crowd, but my dream has been reached to get a match there with Rafa in that country. So it's going to be great, and can't wait for it to come around, and I'm sure it's going to be very emotional for me. But yeah, I mean, it's not easy, but you know how it is in life. When something's a priority, you find time. So I'm happy to go there, and obviously we'll take the family. I'm looking forward to do also a trip to one of the projects while I'm down there. Love to do a safari as well. You name it, you know. We'll just have to see what I can fit into and what not, depending on the Australian Open as well.
Federer said at Wimbledon that he hopes his federation, beyond his humanitarian work, could also have an impact as well through inspiring a new generation of tennis players there.
It's not always been easy, you know, when it comes to tennis down in South Africa, but you know, of course, I hope to have an impact, you know, as well. I mean, through my foundation, through inspiring a new generation of tennis players there as well. I hope I have had a little bit of an impact as well because of my mom, and I know they show massive amounts of sports in South Africa anyhow, but also tennis in particular, and I think the people like that sport down there. So of course we're looking into what can I do on that trip, because it should be memorable for me, but especially also for the kids and the people and the fans and everybody. So of course, I'm very inspired by, you know, Arthur Ashe and Nelson Mandela and all the great things they did. I will never achieve what they did, I know that, but I can at least try a little bit.
And to matters on the court, where third seed Rafael Nadal continued to breeze through the Wimbledon draw with a sharp 3-set victory over Portugal's João Sousa in the last 16. The 33-year-old Spaniard, only tested so far by second-round opponent Nick Kyrgios, is to a 6-2, 6-2, 6-2 win. Nadal into just his second quarterfinal here since 2011 will play Sam Querrey in the last 8. Will play Sam Querrey in the last 8 after the 2017 semi-finalist defeated fellow American tennis Sandgren 6-4, 6-7, 7-6, 7-6. Elsewhere, top seed Novak Djokovic is into the last 8 with a 6-3, 6-2, 6-3 win against French debutant Hugo Humbert at the defending champion continued his pursuit of a 5th Wimbledon title in effective fashion. Djokovic will next face David Goffin, who is seeded 21 in the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Roger Federer's 99th Wimbledon win was probably one of his easiest after he crushed 17th seed Matteo Berrettini. The 8-time champion moved into his record-extending 17th Wimbledon quarterfinal with a 6-1, 6-2, 6-2 victory, which took him just an hour and 13 minutes. Federer will face 8th seed Japanese Kei Nishikori for a place in the semi-finals after he defeated Mikhail Kukushin 6-3, 3-6, 6-3, 6-4. And in the women's play, Australia's world number 1 Ashley Barty has been knocked out of Wimbledon, losing her 4th round match against American Alison Risk. World number 55 Risk fought back from a set down to win 3-6, 6-2, 3-6 in 1 hour 36 minutes on court 2 to reach her first Grand Slam quarterfinals. French Open champion Barty has not dropped a set at the tournament. Risk will face the winner Serena Williams, who reached the quarterfinals at SW19 with a dominant display against Spain's Carla Suarez Navarro. The American 11th seed raced to a 6-2 victory against 30-year-old world number 1. Meanwhile, Coco Gauff's remarkable fairy tale run at Wimbledon came to an end with a straight set defeat by former world number 1 Simona Halep. Seventh seed Halep beat the 15-year-old American qualifier 6-3 to advance to the quarterfinals, where she will play China's Zheng Shuai, while Joanna Konta made it through to the Wimbledon quarterfinals 4-6, 6-2, 6-4 for the second time in 3 years, thanks to a 3-set victory over big-hitting Czech Petra Kvitova. And in related developments, Serena Williams has been fined £7,992. That is $10,000 by the All England club for damaging her court at Wimbledon. She's claimed to have thrown her racket during a pre-tournament practice session where she damaged one of the grass match court, rather than one of the Orangi Park training courts where is shared by all participating players. While Fabio Fognini has also been fined £2,397, which is $3,000 for an outburst during his third round loss. The world number 10, who was annoyed over his match being moved to court 14, ranted in Italian during his opponent's medical timeout, saying he wished a bomb would explode on this club. A bomb should explode, yet that is according to the Italian. Meanwhile, Nick Kyrgios was handed 2 fines, one for £2,397, that is £3,000 as well, from the first round, and another for £3,196, $5,000 from the second round, both for unsportsmanlike conduct. The Australian, who lost to Rafael Nadal in the second round, was penalized for dissent towards match on umpires. And today in the quarterfinals, we see Serena Williams against Alison Risk. Joanna Konta will take on Barbara Strakova. Elina Svitolina will take on Carolina Motrova, while Simona Halep will take on Xuan Shang. And now that's all we have on other sports. Football is on the menu.
For the best and most incisive sporting reports, tune in to Sports Attack on Today 95.1 FM every week morning at 7:30 a.m. My name is Daniel Igale, President of the Nigeria Wrestling Federation. I also listen to the show.
And we'll start straight from the NNL, where the Nigerian National League final day fixture between FC Yamalite and Kogi United played in Gombe on Saturday was declared inconclusive. The match, which took place at the Patami Stadium, Gombe, was marred by many irregularities on the part of the match officials. 2 red cards and 3 penalties, all against Kogi United, were awarded in the match. After playing 100 minutes and Yamalites couldn't find a way through, referee Andrew again pointed to the spot for another penalty. Sergio took the points and the spot kick and hit the upright before Tenimu cleared, but referee ordered for a replay for his reasons best known to him and his assistant. Chairman of the Kogi United, Abdul Sule, who described the match officials' attitude as embarrassing to Nigerian football, has called on the league body and relevant authorities to investigate the match, which was played for over 100 minutes, and also charged the match officials for bringing the game to disrepute, all in a bid to aid Yamalite to win the match, which with more goal margins to beat the draw. And to the MPFL, where after Enyimba of Aba maintained their reputation as Nigeria's most successful club when they beat Akwa United 3-0 at the Agege Stadium, Lagos, to win the record 8th title, coach and players of the Aba-based side reminisced on how they won the title. Coach of the side, Usman Abdallah, said it was a dream come true for him to win the title with the People's Elephant in his first season.
I think every coach's dream is to win the title, and it feels great for the first time, and I'm able to grab the title. It's nice. The feeling is great. You know, every job is difficult, but in Enyimba, it's always difficult because the expectation is very high.
While Vice Captain Ifeanyi Nemena said he is very excited to win the title with the Aba-based side 2 times.
I feel so excited and passionate about it. It has always been my own dream to win it the second time with Team Enyimba, and it's so exciting.
Also speaking, midfielder Augustine Oladapo said he made the right choice to join champions Eyimba FC.
Yeah, my decision has paid off because it wasn't easy at first when I was making those decisions then. So many people were saying a lot of things, don't go to Eyimba and all that, but at the end of the day, they are all saying you took the right decision. So I'm proud of the decision I took. I think I'm okay. You know, every player wants to win the league. And then when you are coming from a small club, coming to a big club, that is your first target. So when I was leaving Gombe United to Eyimba, my target was to win the league. If I was able to come to Eyimba, let me win the league. And at the end of the day, I've been able to achieve this dream. I think I'm happy about that, and my target has been met so far.
While midfielder Freedom Omofoman said winning the trophy with Eyimba was very special for him and for the club.
It's special because being outside, though I played outside, I didn't have any opportunity to celebrate a trophy like I won a trophy, like I won the league or something. But back home now, I won the trophy and I'm champion. So it's so special. At least if I'm saying something, I can say, okay, yeah, I played in my country and I took the NPFL title. Compared to being outside, just playing without any trophy to show, something like that. So it's really special. I really appreciate it.
Ruben Bala further stated that adapting to the pattern of play was the major problem for the squad, and thanks to the coach and the players for working together to win the title.
Adapting to the pattern, it was the major problem that we had in the team. Though along the line when we were playing, when we started getting used to each other and to the pattern, everything just went smoothly. I think I would say kudos to the coach for the players.
The MFL title got Eyimba a CAF Champions League ticket for next season alongside Kanu Pillars. Now let's go pay some bills, and when we'll come back, Sport Attack continues.
Breaking news. NBA Forex and Capital Investment Limited, your #1 Forex institute in Nigeria, launches a new office at Waterlines, Port Harcourt. All residents of GRA, Waterlines, D-Line, Stadium Road, and Old GRA, you now have the opportunity to enroll and invest with NBA Forex and Capital Investment Limited at #159 Aba Road, Waterlines Junction, Port Harcourt, River State. And remember, the old office still remains at GU Ake Road, adjacent to Unity Filling Station, Elioso, Port Harcourt. Or you can also call 0808-595-3225, 0816-295-3970, or 0705-461-3070. Or you can send an email to info@mbaforex.org. NBA Forex and Capital Investment Limited, your journey to financial freedom.
Are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Welcome back. This is still Sports Attack. Now we go straight to the camp of the Super Eagles, where three-time champions Nigeria have arrived in the Egyptian capital, Cairo, ahead of Wednesday's potential explosive AFCON 2019 quarterfinals clash with 1996 champion South Africa at the Cairo International Stadium. Nigeria, who defeated cup holders Cameroon in the round of 16 in a game played in Alexandria on Saturday. The Super Eagles have taken a board at the posh Meridian Heliopolis in one of the largest cities on the African continent. Coach Gernot Rohr has said his charges are very much looking forward to Wednesday's ninth clash, which brings together once more two teams who were involved in the same group in the qualifying campaign. Rohr's first loss as Eagles manager in a competitive match was inflicted by South Africa, though he insisted that Nigeria is not thinking of revenge, but simply a place in the semi-finals. According to Rohr, he said, "We are here to win. It is not going to be an easy match, but surely if you have to win the African Cup, you will not expect to be faced with easy matches at this stage. We know ourselves from the qualifying campaign, and it will be no hold barred on Wednesday. It is not a matter of revenge. It is reaching the semi-finals." That is gospel according to Gernot Rohr. And let's head straight to games played yesterday in the AFCON, where Wilfred Zaha's late goal put Ivory Coast into the quarterfinals of the African Cup of Nations after beating Mali by a lone goal yesterday. Zaha's winner on 76 minutes saved Ivory Coast, who had been the second best team for the most of the last 16 games in Seoul. The Crystal Palace winger ran onto a long pass launched from the back and tucked his shot away, punishing Mali for failing to take their chances. Mali had twice as many shots on goal as the Ivorian, as the Ivorians had dominated the first half, but the 2015 champions progressed to set up a last 8 tie with Algeria thanks to Zaha's strike. And in the other game, Tunisia edged past Ghana 5-4 on penalties in their last 16 tie on Monday after a 1-all extra time draw to take the last place in the African Cup of Nations quarterfinals. Fajani Sassi netted the decisive kick in the shootout as Tunisia kept up their unconvincing progress in the tournament, where they next meet rookie Madagascar in the last 8 on Thursday. Quarterfinal starts tomorrow, where Senegal will face Benin Republic by 5 p.m. Nigerian time, and Nigeria takes on South Africa, and that is by 8 p.m. And to the FIFA Women World Cup, where despite crashing out of the second round of the just concluded 2019 FIFA Women World Cup in France, Nigeria's Super Falcons forward Aziza Oshola's goal has been nominated amongst the goal of the tournament. World Football Governing Body listed out the best goals of the tournament on Monday, and Oshola's second goal against Korea Republic featured prominently on the list. The goal was fortunately the only goal Nigeria scored in the tournament. The other goal was an own goal from a Korean defender as the game ended 2-0 in favor of Nigeria. Oshola's goal will contend England's Lucy Bronze, Brazil's Christian, Italy's Aurora Galli, Netherlands' Jackie Groenen, Japan's Yui Hasenagawa, and France's Amadine Honrey, Sweden's Sofia Jacobs, and USA's Alex Morgan. Then Cameroon's and Achara Nchu. Fans will have the opportunity to vote for their favorite goal of the tournament till July 17, 2019. And to the Premier League, where the Premier League will not be referring the game by VAR and will set a high bar for decision, said referees chief Mike Riley. Video assistant referee will be used in the Premier League from the start of the new season after clubs agreed to their introduction. Riley and his team of referees have spent the past 2 years preparing and training all match officials, including live trial matches, and have been encouraged by the progress they have made. However, he stressed that VAR is still a work in progress. It will, according to him, he said it will take us 2 or 3 years to get it right, said Riley, who is the general manager of the Professional Game Match Officials Limited. He further said that there had been a reaction to some uses of VAR at the Women's World Cup in France, but across Europe, in other competitions, it has been implemented successfully. And he said, if we keep to that really high bar, there is more chances of keeping the flow of the game, the intensity of the game, and people enjoying the spectacle of it rather than constantly referring to the video screen for changing decisions. And to the Copa America, where Brazil coach Tite has criticized Lionel Messi for his complaints against the Copa America refereeing. Brazil ended a 12-year trophy drought with Copa America victory on home soil after beating Peru 3-1 in the finals. Tite's side knocked out Argentina in the semi-finals, and Messi was subsequently sent off in the third place playoff with Peru after the game. He claimed Argentina were treated unfairly at the Copa America and boycotted the medal ceremony to protest the refereeing and corruption. According to Messi, he said he has to have more respect and needs to accept when he loses, said Tite. And that's the Brazil coach talking, who had praised the Argentine playmaker ahead of the semi-finals. Messi and Gary Mendel were red-carded after their physical confrontation in the first half. He said Argentina were not treated fairly and hinted that Brazil were benefiting as a result. Tite said he did not think Messi should have been sent off against Chile and that a yellow card would have been enough, but he still insisted. He said Messi should have been more careful with his words. However, South American football bosses said accusations questioning the integrity of the Copa America are unfounded and represent a lack of respect. Argentina captain Lionel Messi claimed the competition was corrupt after he was sent off in their 2-1 third-place playoff win over Chile on Saturday. The South American Football Confederation, CONMEBOL, later released a statement which said they did not directly refer to Messi, saying a fundamental pillar of fair play is to accept the result with loyalty and respect. That's according to the CONMEBOL. And to France, where Neymar can leave Paris Saint-Germain if there is an offer that suits all parties, said the club's sporting director, Leonardo. Leonardo, who recently returned to his role at the club, said it is clear to everyone what the Brazil star's desire is and admits there has been superficial contact with Barcelona. And he said Neymar can leave Paris Saint-Germain if there is an offer that suits everyone. we have not received any offers yet. But we had, it's true, very superficial contact, he said with Barcelona. He said in an interview with La Parisien. And to transfer gossip making the round this morning, where Atletico Madrid have opened disciplinary proceedings against French forward Antoine Griezmann, who is expected to make a 107.5 million euros move to Barcelona. Real Madrid are looking to sell Colombian forward James Rodriguez to raise funds for a 150 million move for Manchester United French midfielder Paul Pogba. And Bayern Munich expects German midfielder Leroy Sané to decide next week whether he wants to join them from Manchester City. And Arsenal, Manchester United and Paris Saint-Germain are interested in signing France midfielder Temu Bakayoko from Chelsea. And that's the size of the package. The show was put together by me, my humble self, and the sports crew. We're back later today after the news update by 3 for today's Sports Live. But until then, have a wonderful day.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
This is what we've waited for. The showdown. The fastest men in the world.
Hearts racing.
One light, two lights. They're backing off and backing.
Pulse rising.
Who will come out on top? Who'll take 3 lights, 4 lights. He's ready to be the star.
The anticipation.
Powerful, strong, compact. Time, Tyson Gay right hold all the way. He's looking right.
The heart stops. Catch the sports game.
Mecca Dinner is my name, and the guys. This is Emmanuel Chuzo. I am the top striker. Wisdom Obi Niles. My name is Gunnerman.
Dorcas Koki, the sports diva.
On Sports Attack, Mondays through Fridays, 7:30 a.m. And today's Sport Live, 3 to 4 p.m. And also on the weekends, 1 to 6 p.m. Only on your premium sports radio. Today, 95.1 FM.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Good morning, sir.
My pikin, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, sir.
You dey go school?
Yes, sir.
Make sure say you read.
Madam, please, can I have one small juice and 2 biscuits there? Please be fast. Okay, customer, Ben, no vex. I dey come, make her bring them.
Let me talk.
No, you're late. You're late already.
See as this small girl they cross this busy road anyhow.
Sweet plantain.
So your mama no know say you too young to the hawk.
Now one for mama oh. I bet come on for it, make I cross road.
Made in China.
Oh, buy your plantain.
Leave the road.
The fact that you're not financially buoyant doesn't mean that you should abuse your child. Most times, these children don't have the capacity or knowledge to carry on the tasks. Education, they say, is an important aspect in a child's life. So do well not to take away that opportunity from them, as it will affect them later in the future. Remember that giving out your child for early marriage could also affect the child's life. So stop child trafficking. Avoid sending them out in the name of making money, because the children today are the leaders of tomorrow. Don't ruin their future with your ignorance. Say no today to child abuse. Say no today to child trafficking. Say no today to child marriage. This message is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM.
We are the future. We are the dream. We are the nation. We are part of this. Yes, we are so amazing. That's the least we shall be.
Peace
is a situation where there is no war or violence in a society. Peace allows wealth to accumulate and the society to advance.
Through peace, generations of wealth, education, technology can build up, thereby making people very prosperous and happy.
Without peace, there will be violence, war, and underdevelopment in our society. The most disadvantageous peace is far better than the most just war. Let us embrace peace for a better society.
This message is brought to you by your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM.
It's what I pray for all around the world. It's what I pray for all
Cultism is a monster whose ravaging effects have left tales of woes such as loss of lives, kidnapping, drug abuse, threats, destruction of properties, blackmail, rape, and many other ills in society. In our society today, poor parental training, peer pressure, poverty, quest for power and social identity are the leading factors that contributes to youths indulging in this act. Again, peace can be restored to our society only and only if we attach value to human lives. And this would bring about rapid development to our community. Say no to cultism. This message is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
Corruption is a dishonest action that destroys people's trust. Corruption takes many forms and can be interpreted by many people in many ways. It is hard to enter into any sector in Nigeria without observing one corrupt practice or the other. The faces of corruption ranges from political, universities and college, bank sector, the civil service, even the religious bodies. In Nigeria, factors like greed, poor youth empowerment, poverty, unemployment, etc. are said to be responsible for corruption. However, no reason is good enough to be corrupt, because corruption is capable of crippling our economy, raise poverty level, bring about national crisis, as well as poor national development. Stop the embezzlement and misappropriation of public or government funds, bribery, malpractice, man no man, and treat all citizens equally today. A corrupt-free nation is possible. This message is powered by your premium talk radio Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Here at Today, we bring you what you need to hear.
But this is what they're going after. They're not going to let me learn. It has to be applicable to all situations. No, it cannot be, because when the evidence...
Some people are not sure of 1 meal a day in a society with such huge potentials.
If a criminal passes that place, whichever means he used in passing, and you turn around to blame the citizen, for instance, people will ask you, were you not there? Malaria kills Nigerians. Malaria.
News.
This is the World News. I am Annie Abdul Salam. In the headlines, Federal Executive
Sports
and entertainment. My name is Shubogu Nadir. Straight up to football on the show.
This is Today. Every day, 24/7, 365. We are your official all-year radio station.
Wake up to today's quest.
Wake up.
All the news and information you need in one go. Get started with the best of sports, lifestyle, analysis, and Annie.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Can you feel it? Wake up to today's quest with Annie on Today 95.1 FM. From 6 to 11 a.m. weekdays. Fantastic. Wake up to today's quest.
Wake up.
All the news and information you need in one go. Get started with the best of sports, lifestyle, analysis, and Annie.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Can you feel it? Wake up to today's quest with Annie on Today 95.1 FM from 6 to 11 a.m. weekdays. Fantastic.
They're saying that the explanation given by the military was not enough to say that he saved up to buy those houses or to buy. Let me just quickly get your thoughts here so that we throw that into the opinion program. I think I have a picture.
You look at it
that now.
holistically, you look at it and make sure and understand that restructuring is what Nigeria needs.
Today's quest from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Catch Annie on this frequency, Monday to Friday.
That is absolutely their position. Respect the law. Now the question will be which law?
Today's quest, a sure way to start your day.
Because he hasn't really done anything here.
Yeah,
because both parties are contending.
Wake up to today's quest.
Wake up.
All the news and information you need in one go. Get started with the best of sports, lifestyle, analysis, and Annie.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Can you feel it? Wake up to today's quest with Annie on Today 95.1 FM from 6 to 11 a.m. weekdays. Fantastic.
Station today, 95.1 FM, 13 minutes past 8 o'clock this morning. It's Today FM, and this is Today's Quest. My name is Ifyemi Andrew, and I will be your host for this morning, standing in for Annie, who is unavoidably absent, but she would be joining us hopefully later on the show. Well, we'll start off with the newspaper review. Before we do that, let me quickly introduce my guest in the studio. Obedima JP is with us this morning. Sir, you're welcome. Been a while.
Thank you.
All right. We also have with us Emmanuel Ndukwe. Mr. Emmanuel, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. Good morning, Nigeria.
All right, to start on a very serious note, quickly on the Vanguard, Nigeria ranks fourth. Nigeria ranks fourth as 4.4 million women live with breast cancer worldwide, and we are at number 4. It was delivered by Dr. Brenda Nwamo, who has said no fewer than 4.4 million women are living with breast cancer globally, with Nigeria ranking 4th among the endemic nations, according to a report by the WHO. A lot of sensitization programs have been going on with regards to breast cancer, especially in women. But as it stands, we're still at number 4, delivering the paper at the launch of a mammography machine for detecting breast cancer at the El Dorado Hospital, Oka, a private health facility. Nwamo said further than the projection by WHO had also shown that 1.7 million additional breast cancer cases, mostly in developing countries, would be diagnosed in 2020. According to our breast cancer accounts for over 400,000 deaths annually, and described it as the commonest cancer among females in Nigeria. That's on the Vanguard. And another interesting news on the Vanguard is coming from the new GMD of the NNPC, Kiari, the new Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Malam Mele Kiari. Yesterday, he promised to fix the country's 4 refineries before the end of May 2023. I think this would be very interesting to say something on. So let me start. Obidima. We know that a lot of other people before him, from the Minister of State Petroleum to the outgoing GMD, whose duty is it to fix the refinery? Minister of State or the GMD of the NNPC, or perhaps both of them together? And if it's possible, another 4 years, they're saying, okay, what do we expect? Obidima.
Well, I think, I don't think it is within the ambit of the law setting up NNPC for them to undertake such a project. I think it's something that goes through the Federal Executive Council, which must be approved and appropriated for. So, and that is why the former Minister of State made that statement that they are going to fix the refineries. Now, for a GMD to make such statement, then there is something I see of lack of coordination within the ministry and the NNPC. But I know that by the extant law establishing NNPC, I don't think they have the power to
do that,
to approve and appropriate such a gigantic project.
Mr. Malolundukwe, what do you make of this conversation? He's already bragging about it. In 4 years before the end of this term, the 4 refineries would be at optimal performance. Does he have the powers to do that?
I think it doesn't matter much about having power or not. But the point is that NNPC is not a ministry. And I think that should come from the Minister of Petroleum to the Federal Executive Council and all that in their meeting, where they will approve and all that. As for power in terms of approving such, NNPC doesn't have it. But I believe that even as I am an individual, if there is so much money my way, and I find that my country is lacking in any infrastructure, and I happen to ask if I can be allowed to handle such, perhaps later on, I'll be reimbursed. And once the approval comes from the relevant body, I can execute that. The caveat is if they will allow such. So if the NNPC new boss, but remember again, underscored, he is a new boss of NNPC.
Maybe.
He is looking for a way to have people brought to him in terms of acceptance. And so he must make a unique promise. That's the way I look at the whole thing. Because
so you think it will end up like Ibe Kachiku's promise?
Of course.
When you then get into the office,
are you expecting anything from that? You see, a lot of promises have been made by politicians, but in the end, you won't get anything done. But promises are very sweet, at least to listen to. Once they come in, what are you going to do again? Did you appoint him? Well, the man that appointed him, if the relationship is very smooth, that settles it all.
Well,
that's Nigeria.
He
for
said,
us.
let me quote, I quote, I assure you that we will follow up to ensure that within the life of this administration, before President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure ends in 2023, we will deliver on the 4 refineries. Okay, so those are the words.
Again,
follow up.
The explanation.
Now follow up.
The explanation is all about following up. And that, of course, means he is not going to do it solely.
Yeah.
So, which means he will be prodding the relevant organs of government to do this. But if there is any way a contribution will be required from them,
he will give it. He also said that the new NNPC management would transform the country into a net exporter of petroleum products before the end of the tenure of the president. That's also another thing he said, and make the NNPC a global oil company. So those are the promises. Quite hopeful. We'll have to wait.
Will they be realized?
Yeah,
Let him sit on that chair.
We would wait and see.
The point is that are we the ones controlling the forces of supply and demand in the international market as far as in respect of oil? We are not. You see, oil issue, the politics around it.
So you are simply saying that with that politics and what happens in the international market, it might be quite impossible to make such promises.
For you to now begin to
make such promises.
Yes, for you to begin to get too excited because of your new position. Now this is what you're going to do.
Okay. All right. Let's quickly get on to another headline on the Vanguard. Banditry down by over 90% in Zamfara. CP. That's coming from the Commissioner of Police in Zamfara State, Mr. Usman Nagogo. He says that armed bandits activities have reduced by about 98% following ongoing peace and reconciliation initiative in the state. The CP also stated this at a press briefing on Monday, and the success is being recorded by security in the fight against banditry in the state. So that should be good news for the people of Zamfara State. Meanwhile, on the Nation newspaper, this is coming here from a global body. It says insecurity in Northeast has raised poverty level. Says global body, insecurity in Northeast has raised poverty level. The security challenges in Northeast may have led to increase in the poverty rate among the people in rural communities, according to the non-governmental organization Save the Children. It said the people in the region can no longer access their farms, adding that they cannot produce as much as they used to. According to the organization, the normal livelihood of people in the region have been disrupted, leading to increased vulnerability. Save the Children head of food security and livelihood, Kachuta Dicha, at the unveiling of the household economy analysis in Abuja yesterday said, I quote, "We know that conflict affects people's livelihood. For example, the farmers will not have access to land, and even in very rich productive areas in the Northeast, people can no longer access their farms. Therefore, they cannot produce as much as they used to produce. This affects access to food. At the same time, it also affects their access to income because the businesses they used to depend on are disrupted and their trade route is disrupted." So if they're saying poverty has been increased because of what's happening here, which is obviously very true, how come a report came that suggested that we would have what was the word that was used again in regards to Rivers State in this regards? And many people even argued at that time with the facts. They said it's supposed to be coming from the Northeast where they have these sort of issues. They are supposed to be the ones suffering perhaps more level of, I can't get the exact word, most in Rivers State. Now it's failing my head when I need it most. But what point we're making is poverty level. Are we going to say that the poverty in Nigeria, at the moment we rank number 1, is as a result of what is happening in the Northeast?
I don't think so. Even the Rivers State own, that was a statistic churned out by, I think, a National Bureau of Statistics or so. Well, if it has been authenticated, I don't know, because I've not embarked on such a mission.
Yeah.
But all I know is that if they are stating because of insurgency that is raging in the Northeast, that poverty level itself is increasing, it's a natural concomitant. So it's expected. But one thing is that, remember the River State own, I think it wasn't for this year. It was last year. Well, maybe the situation in terms of maybe bringing up more level of poverty in the Northeast had not reached the peak it is now. So I think we'll have to wait and see when the result for this year will be released sometime, whether
maybe sometime next year.
Good. We see whether they will top River State. But like I said, has it been authenticated, that of River State? If it's been authenticated, well, we know. I think we are certainly going to know something.
Obedima, quickly, let's
that of River State, is it poverty or misery?
But then we had misery,
Misery
we had
that
unemployment,
unemployment. It's not poverty.
Yeah, unemployment. No, not poverty. Unemployment.
Not poverty. Yeah,
but the point we're
unemployment.
saying, if unemployment,
unemployment itself is also a
yardstick for poverty.
No,
So
I
for
think,
highest unemployment, that would mean that wouldn't that have been something that we'd expect from that region where there have been a lot of conflicts?
I think
Because that would mean
they
many
have
people don't
different
have jobs.
parameters. They have different parameters. The point there is that if we are talking of poverty, in fact, not just Northeast, poverty is high in the northern part of this country than the southern part. From all research, all statistics shown that so far. Well, on this issue of
and that would mean it's because they have a high level of unemployment in the northern part of the country. Because that is what would point towards. That must be what to point to poverty.
No, I may not say they have high level of unemployment.
So how come high level
unemployment? Unemployment is not just a parameter to measure poverty. There are other issues. Even education is part of it. There are so many other things that can make somebody to be declared either poor. It may not just be that they are not employed. It may not be employed, maybe in the formal sector, but they're employed in the informal sector. You engage in one thing or the other. But the point is that what is coming to you, is it acceptable internationally by the standard measured internationally that you are earning something that makes you live above poverty?
I'm happy within myself. When you are engaged, it's one way or the other. And that engagement is nothing to write home about. You are not employed. I tell you.
No, you see, when you talk of that, it's like even the minimum wage of this country today. Yeah, it's not something that can even make you live and take care of your needs.
Because I don't think there is anybody that will just wake up and sit at home and expect anything. No. So you must be one way or the other engaged, but does that meet the standard?
Like what is happening?
Gentlemen, let's leave it. Before we begin to argue this issue now and begin to find out what statistics when it comes, we would argue better. But there's something else that we should look at, really interesting, coming from the army. Boko Haram. This is on the Nation newspaper still. Boko Haram. Army denies neighboring countries aid terrorists. That's what the army is saying now. The General Officer Commanding GOC 7th Division of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Bulama Biu, has refuted claims that countries that share borders with the northeastern states aid Boko Haram and Islamic State West African province. And this comes from it kind of brings a shock, because we know that, for instance, when the Dapchi girls situation happened, and many were saying the military that was deployed there, they said they were at the Niger borders tackling intruders who were also aiding the Boko Haram to fight terrorists in that area. We've also heard that we have infiltration from outside the country. These groups have so far merged with other groups outside the country. In fact, the president has even stated the need for these neighboring states to also join forces so we tackle the problem. So why then are we now hearing from the army that we don't have any of such mergers between the terrorist group of different countries infiltrating Nigeria? Obidima.
Is it this issue of Boko Haram fights? Sometimes it's like something that goes up and comes down. You don't know where to situate it. I think there's this national.
Yeah, we have from different countries. Niger task force that was working towards.
I want to ask: is there no kind of synergy from these countries? If there is, why are we getting this kind of narrative? The point there is this: like Chad, Niger, Cameroon, Nigeria. We know that there are different borders, you can use and come into Nigeria that is not properly manned. And the point there is that has military been able to identify these borders and see how they can block them? The issue is that we are in the Niger border. When these people came in and all those things, they do not add up. Let there be a kind of strategy a strategy to deal with this thing holistically. The piecemeal approach to it is what has really kept us where we are. And the politics also around it. The politics around it. There are a lot of politics around this fight of against Boko Haram and other terrorists.
It is something he said. I think you find it very interesting. The GOC, who was among outstanding officers and soldiers honored by Chief of Army Staff Yusuf Burtai at the star-studded event, said the defense forces of Cameroon and Chadian military had been collaborating with Nigerian troops to defeat the insurgents. I quote, "That allegation is not true. We work together. Yes, there is need for improvement, but that doesn't mean they are supporting terrorists. In fact, we had a joint operation 2 days ago, Thursday, around the Cameroon border. We encountered the terrorists and jointly with Cameroonian defense forces, we cleared them. Remember that we also have multinational joint task force with troops of all these countries as members." BU said there is need for all hands to be on deck to end terrorism in the country. So, is it that we're just employing the expertise of these people from outside shores and not really having any form of infiltration? Because we know before now, we've been hearing the fact that they have also terrorist group operating in some of these countries who are coming to work in collaboration with those of Nigeria, Boko Haram in Nigeria, to cause more mayhem. And that forced the synergy between these countries to help tackle that matter properly.
Andrew, can you read the heading again?
Well, he said that army denies neighboring countries aid terrorists.
Good. I think I want to agree with the army.
So in that case, it means...
Yes. You see, at official level, you heard what he said.
Yeah.
That there's collaboration
between them
with the relevant agencies, that's the army of other nations. So at official level, you could have a sneaky infiltration by individuals. So when these elements are coming in unauthorized and unknown, yes, there will always be that kind of flow. Like Obidima was saying, there are porous borders between Nigeria and all these other neighboring countries. So you could all have that kind of sneaky infiltration into Nigeria. But at official level, that these other people of those nations are helping and fighting these terrorists instead of allowing them to come in. I think I agree with him.
Okay. Well said. And I think because he was pointing out the fact that the military, there are various military mites of different countries are also working together with them. So it wouldn't mean that...
because oftentimes we've heard where maybe Chad or Niger
it happened in Zamfara.
Arrested Boko Haram insurgents in their own soil. Perhaps that we're planning to come into Nigeria and all that. So I think I agree with the army.
All right. Still on the Nation newspaper, another headline, protest as Dixon unveils preferred governorship aspirants. This is with regards to the situation in Bayelsa. Protest as Dixon unveils preferred governorship aspirants. I think before we go into details, we have this culture in Nigerian politics where when the governor is going out of office, he has to pick somebody that he feels is best to represent the people. Where is the place of the people deciding who should represent them then?
Like you say, it's becoming a culture. But the point is this. These governors, leaders don't even learn from what has happened in the past in this kind of instances. And they end up raising a sort of demarcus around themselves. We are seeing where you endorse somebody, a preferred candidate. In fact, 2 years into his administration, he becomes a tiger against you. And what we are seeing in Edo State today. So, I don't know why they will not allow the people to actually choose in a democratic process who succeeds them. And they earn more respect as they are going. It's not when you bring a preferred candidate and you now want to be a godfather, you want to lord over, you want to dictate, and he turns against you. You put a certain crisis. I want to say that some of them are not quite ingenious in what they are doing as political leaders. I don't support this kind of preferred candidate, not preferred candidate. It destroys the party. It also destroys your chances of winning the election. That's what is even going on today, because the aggrieved members that you are blocked can also fight against the party because they have their followers. So the best thing is that there are there are creative ways of doing these things. Yes, you may have somebody, there's nothing wrong in endorsing somebody. But in that endorsing somebody should not be in a way that you are deploying all the state resources behind that person
to ensure that
he emerges.
Well, according to the report here, it says Dixon's political family, the Restoration Caucus of the PDP, in a statement by the governor's special advisor, Feynman Wilson, named 3 persons as members of the caucus that had indicated interest to pick the governorship forms, and they are the Chief Staff, Government House, Talford Ongolo, Secretary to the State Government, SSG, Kemela Okara, and the Senator representing Bayelsa Senatorial District, Senator Doye Diri. This, especially the third one, got a lot of people talking. It's a senator representing the Bayelsa Central Senatorial District.
Which
means you just won an election. You have a job.
Yeah.
So if you have a job, why would you have interest to want to come and become a governor?
If you know that you want to aspire for governor, why do you go for?
Why do you go for that position?
For that position.
So what I don't understand what you people are saying. Absolutely. How did Dixon himself come?
No, he brought up with this 3 names.
It was in Hassan. Yeah, it was in Hassan.
Yeah, simple.
But the point that we are talking of closeness. When the election ended and when this one is taken off.
That's the question.
Gentlemen,
this election just ended.
If it comes with the question, is it right? I will say no.
Okay, that's
but
the point.
If you are talking about this one, you know, you
politics.
want governorship. Yes, Dixon himself is a culprit if that is bad.
Yes.
Because he left that one and came. Because he was called. He was there already. So I think, Nigeria is not practicing democracy. And so we don't expect any democratic character. No. How can you make imposition? It's against the rule of law. And does that, the rule of law must be the cardinal position of democracy. And it's not in Nigeria. The brand of politics in this country is warfare. Look at, once Dixon now makes this imposition, and finally they settle on one individual. All the things, the protests and all that, I don't know where it will take people to. Well, because he is sitting on the financial watch list of Bayelsa State. If he falls this guy, no other person will upturn him, no matter how wealthy.
But we don't know what this would mean for the PDP, because even members of the PDP are now saying that if any of these candidates would emerge, then perhaps the APC might win the elections in that state. According to what we have here, it says most of the commentators, members of the PDP, describe the 3 aspirants as unpopular, saying the party should be prepared to lose the state to the All Progressive Congress if it's settled for any of them. One of them, Onisha Miepamo, wrote, Dixon is a good man and has a golden heart for the job people. He cannot afford to see Bayelsa suffer after his successful 2 terms in office, but I was shocked to see an official statement regarding the coming governorship election. The announcement of 3 aspirants as preferred candidates among so many vibrant aspirants inside the PDP that will continue the good work started by the Restoration Administration is uncalled for. I believe Dixon doesn't have a hand in these so-called stingy preferred candidates. So
you see,
that's
Andrew,
the personal view.
When they are talking about it, it gets me worried. There is no country that has one political party as its owner. If Bayelsa State turns to APC or ABGA or other ones, if they are there, is Bayelsa State built and then written on it PDP? Is it built and written on it APC or any other political party? Anyone that wins will run the government in Bayelsa State. Nigeria, was it not PDP that were at the center? APC took over. Will APC be there forever? No. That is how it goes. But we are saying, as far as this system of politics in this country continues, Nigeria is not practicing democracy. Why would you bring people and say it must be
this one?
Yeah, it's the internal.
What would this mean for the PDP? Because similar situation happened last year. Many said the elections last year should have swayed to the APC if not for the candidate that they also presented. And it's beginning to look like in Bayelsa State, people are beginning to be more focused on the individuals that you are bringing with not regarding which party you are coming from.
It's the individual disposition politically matters a lot in a very good democratic setup. Like what the man would say, not the kind of democracy we practice here. Unfortunately, sometimes I sit down to take deep introspection of how the crop of leaders we have today. And I just oppose it with the people I saw in Second Republic during MPN, MPP, UPN era. I begin to say that there is a huge gap, and how do we close this? unfortunately, most of the people who are going into political offices today are contractors. They are not administrators. They are not administrators. They are there maybe as contractor, governors, contractor, senators, contractor, whatever you call it, because the focus is what am I going to get from the office. Now, internal democracy is being killed, but it's still not yet late for the PDP Bayelsa. The National Working Committee of the party, even Jonathan, who is from that state, should not begin to nip in the bud. Anything that will kind of undermine the chances of PDP returning back to power. Because it is no more the issue of party now. It's the issue of individuals. It's the issue of character. The kind of person that is popular that can reach to the people. That's what people... We are evolving. The society is getting more enlightened. People are beginning to kind of analyze issues critically to know what is good and best for them. So I believe that it is not too late for them to correct whatever is perceived mistakes or errors they are now creating.
To make.
If there are no errors, there won't be defeat in political elections.
So somebody has to make the error.
Somebody has to sleep for the other one to stand up. You see, if they make that mistake, what my own is that no party owns any state. Absolutely. I hear this thing oftentimes. This state is that party. That none is belonging to any party. Anyone can win. But let me tell you, in terms of former President Jonathan, Obidima mentioned, he is not bigger than Dixon as far as Bayelsa State is concerned. I'm telling you the truth. Nationally, he is far millions of polls ahead of Dixon as a former president. But you see the person that has the power in his grip and is running Bayelsa State, whether anybody likes it or not, is Dixon. And if he decides, okay, you people are not supporting this one, you must be there. He will be there and he will sponsor him, but in the end, either he passes or he fails. Simple.
All right. So we'd have to wait. November isn't too far away.
Yes.
Let's first of all wait and see who gets the ticket first for the PDP, and then we might begin to know where to go from there. But let's move on now to this day newspaper. It says Osun Supreme Court and the violent senator. That's on this day newspaper. The Supreme Court of Nigeria delivered the final judgment on Friday, July 5. In the matter of the September 22 gubernatorial election and the September 23 who ran in Osun State on September 22, with regards to Senator Ademola Adeleke had won the election. And then we all are aware of that story, but we can get details of what happened there on this day newspaper. But still on this day, election results transmitted to server. INEC ad hoc officers tell tribunal. Election results transmitted to server. INEC ad hoc officers tell tribunal. Remember, Galadima was the first witness that was called yesterday by the PDP. Was cross-examined and gave his reasons why he refused backing the president for a second term. But according to what we have here, some witnesses in the hearing of the petition filed by the PDP and its presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar against the election of President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday told the panel hearing the complaint that results from the presidential poll were transmitted into a server belonging to INEC. 2 of the 6 witnesses called by the petitioner said they served as ad hoc staff of INEC and testified that results were transmitted electronically to the commission server. One of them, Mr. Peter Obi, an information, communication and technology expert, said emphatically that election results were transmitted from polling units to INEC server. Obi told the tribunal that he was trained by INEC at a registration area as a registration area technician and was shortlisted by INEC for the 2019 election result transmission. I am an ICT expert who transmitted election results to INEC server. Quoting him now, I was trained by INEC at a registration area technician as a registration area technician for the transmission of election results. Obi earlier adopted his witness statement on oath, which he deposed to on April 26, as his evidence in chief said this while fielding questions from INEC's lawyer, Yunus Usman. I quote, "You are not supposed to transmit results because you are not a presiding officer." That's what Usman said, the lawyer for the INEC. Obi responded and said, I quote, "You are wrong, sir. INEC trained us to transmit results. I was not a presiding officer. I was not a polling agent. I was a registration area technician appointed by INEC. I was trained by INEC." And then fielding questions from Buhari's lawyer, Chief Wole Olanikwekun, He said he was not aware of the guidelines used by INEC for the presidential election, but there were specific guideline booklets issued for his roles as a RATEC. I quote, I was a RATEC in charge of the use of the card reader. He said he was not aware of Olanik Bekun's claim that there was no designation in INEC's guidance. Point is, we are back to the server now. Again, is this server going to be a critical tool if PDP and its candidate Atiku Abubakar were to at least make a case that would be considered, that would either swing the pendulum in their favor?
Yes, you see, when people begin to say, the server is not the Electoral Act and all those things, but the Constitution provides that INEC can make guidelines, even the Electoral Act. And INEC came out with guidelines. And that guideline was not changed. In fact, they say it is mandatory. It was not changed before, on, and after the election, even during the governorship election. And the law says that you are bound by your rules. You must be bound by your rules. So, and you train people for both APOs, both these technicians, for 3 days on this issue of carry that in and how to also transmit it to the result to the server. And one of the witnesses I learned, he said that the server, the carry that is hooked to the server. You know, it hooked to the server. And
but the card reader doesn't. It's only the card reader itself. It's to verify you.
No.
Vote with that.
Excuse me. If you go for that, they had their APO, whose responsibility is to transmit.
So you're saying that after you vote on the paper, because you vote on the paper and that's what they count.
Yeah. No.
After
the election.
So after the
election, after collecting the result,
the INEC officials then now begin to transfer the number of votes through an electronic means to the server.
The vote itself, and they said they were giving codes for that, and you transmit it to the server, and the APO is different from the APO that collates the result, from the APO that transmits the result to the server. So the point there is that if we are getting this evidence that there is server, but in the first place, common sense will teach us, if you deploy carrier, there was no incident form. What are we saying? The information generated by the carrier, where is it being stored? Where is it going? That is the thing that common sense should tell us, even somebody who is not knowledgeable in ICT. Because that thing must have a link. It's a computer thing. It has a link.
Okay.
We are not. Right. We didn't use the incident form.
Let's hear from Mr. Malone. What do you make of this?
Andrew, I will expect Obidima to analyze in the fashion he has done. See, but for me, I will be in the middle because politicians, all of them know what they are doing. In this kind of issues, the reason for INEC to come up with their position could be either to defend itself if it feels guilty, or it might be telling the truth. It is only themselves that will know.
Yeah.
Now, if you say you don't have a server, like I asked, all that are due being sent to the server, were they now sent to the wind? That is the question I'm asking. But that does not remove, perhaps, the authenticity of the claim of INEC. Because INEC said, let us listen to what INEC said, and that is why it's baffling me. INEC said that, yes, there were issues about deployment of central server, but it was not used in this 2019 election. It was not used. That's what they said. You are talking about card reader. Card reader does not transmit results to the central server. What major function of card reader is to authenticate anybody that is coming to vote? Now, for instance, if I slot my, what do they call it, PVC or whatever, and it's recognized by the card reader, I'm authenticated. That's where it ends. The officials will know. It has nothing to do with transmission of results. Now, forget about all these controversy of server or no server. For me, I know that what Obidima mentioned is very touching. That INEC could make maybe some further instructions by itself.
And that's what this young man said. The witness there
No,
was
listen,
stating.
Andrew. If we rely on that, do we have any legislation that is backing it? You remember what happened in Rivers State in 2015 election? Where they said some individuals or some units abandoned the use of a card reader.
Yeah. Because there was
Because it
incident
no more
provision for
functioning.
incident form.
No, hold on. Okay, relax, please. I am not for any party. I am stating the fact that any man that hears will recognize. What I'm saying is, as it happened in 2015, and later on the Supreme Court, after everybody was dancing, that was favored, the Supreme Court said, which law, please, said that card reader is recognized. And that was the death of that was sounded. Now, in Nigeria, for now, was in the first place Electoral Act signed. Is there any law that recognizes this server and all the use of it and all that? Are we not seeing that same scenario repeating itself? Assuming, because even if you win, that yes, there was a central server and we got this and that, is it recognized? Is it backed by any legislation? Why do we love running round in circles? So for me, I think the end will justify the means, because the judges understand the law more than Emmanuel Dukwe, and they will come up finally with a position.
We have less than 5 minutes to wrap things up.
Andrew,
before we take the last headline.
Yes, I read an investigative report by Premium Times a few weeks ago, where they interviewed in different states these electoral officers, and they came up with the verdict that they use the server to transmit results, and they were giving codes. That they were even, when they had the network problem, Sunday said they have network problem, they tried it till midnight. Then again, there is also a constitutional amendment that even I didn't know that the constitution I have been amended. And it was amended. Is it the electoral act or constitution? It was amended, the two, before Jonathan left, before 2015 election. But most people did not know that. Yes, most people did not.
So
when I saw, because when I saw a section, excuse me now, I've not really, when I saw the amendment as written in the petition of article, I went to my constitution. The thing that I saw that was written in that petition, it's not agreeing with my, the section in my constitution. And I asked Dr. C.J. Chinwo that he said there was an amendment that you gave me a copy of it. That Professor Wokosha and this thing got this thing and they put them together. He had not given.
You're saying that could make a case for the PDP?
Yes,
okay.
exactly.
We'll wait
even
until
section 151
we'll wait
of the
until
electoral
that
act.
happens. When it happens, let's
because
hold
I
on.
heard that first from Meka Ngige, that there was an amendment. Why was it not used as the Supreme Court? And the Supreme Court claimed that they didn't know that such amendment has been made in 2015.
Most lawyers said that people did not know when they were going for that 2015 petition.
Let's finally say this. In Rivers State, though, this is from the Sun newspaper. Before we go, Rivers 2019 Tribunal upholds Wike's victory. Rivers 2019 Tribunal upholds Wike's victory. The tribunal, presided over by Justice K.A. Ojiako, dismissed the petition on the grounds that it was deemed abandoned on the grounds of paragraph 4 of the first schedule of the Electoral Act. So they dismissed a petition filed by AAC governorship candidate Biokmama Awara against INEC and Governor Nyesom Wike and the PDP. Earlier, the tribunal struck out applications by the AAC governorship candidate seeking that he be separated from all joint applications. Many are saying that the reason why this problem is happening was because, there was first an issue in court with who to represent the AAC, and I think Abello emerged at the end of the day, and they said that how he handled the situation is what has led to them losing this case. And it was sounding hopeful that he's going to seek advice from his counsel and then perhaps know what line of action to take next. Would you see any other perhaps issue coming out of this case?
Well, it depends on the petitioner and his lawyer. But the point there is that from all that happened around that election, honestly speaking, my summary if you ask me, of it is that embarking on a wasted voyage is not profitable.
The truth is that I think the tribunal has struck it out. And for me, what I heard there is that it was abandoned or so. That means it was struck out on technicalities. Now, it's left dismissed on technicalities. That's what I mean.
Technicalities was the key.
Yes. So what I'm just waiting as an individual is that will ASC go on appeal? If they decide to bury it there, it ends there.
Okay.
If they don't, they go
then
on
it
appeal.
continues. So wait and see what happens next. Well, that's how we wrap up the first half of the show, at least the newspaper review. Stay tuned because, yes, we'll be having shortly opinion poll and real talk with follow-up soon. But stay tuned there for a special interview. I'll be right back. Thank you to Obidima and Emmanuel Lundukwe. My name is Ifeemi Andrew.
Are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Premium Talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM, right here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt, 5 minutes before 9 o'clock. And I have with me a guest in the studio from Odibola Properties. Her name is Joy Hosful. Joy, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Trace.
So tell us what Odibola has for us and all of our listeners out there today.
Okay, we have a lot of stuff. A very wonderful, the biggest promo in town now. Yes, the biggest. You know, we always encourage people to invest in real estate, and it's because we know it has a lot of value. It's a big investment to make, no matter how small you start. You understand? Even if you're having the least 350, like the promo that just passed, the Pay Small promo, people were able to invest, and in the nearest future, they are selling this property 100% like increase on it. You know, you can sell it at 1 million, you can sell it at 2 million because it's a buy and build property. So I'm really glad, and I'm also going to use this medium to congratulate and thank those that keyed into the Pay Small promo, because it has come to an end and we're happy so many families keyed into it and they are going ahead with the payment. So, but now we have something wonderful that we're running, the Dubai promo. This is what we are not just giving you investment property, but we're giving you a treat backing your investment. Now, the thing is, we have a property called the Quiet Heaven Layout Phase 2. And this property is a buy and build. It's a place where so many persons that come to see this property love it, because we've already installed a transformer, we've pulled in electricity, because we know if you want to develop your land, you want to get a place where you can dig a borehole and there'll be light. That's another thing that people look out for. They need power supply. And this is a place where the airport also connects light to. So you have a constant power supply. So you're not worried about light, you're not worried about water. Everything is provided there. So all you need to do is key into it. If you're able to get a plot or two from this Quiet Heaven layout at 1.5 million, you are qualified for a raffle draw to travel to Dubai. Now you're traveling to Dubai, having a beautiful experience and still having your property secured and beautifully waiting for you, because we know the holiday is coming. The long holiday period is coming, and some people have some plans. Some are like, let me just chill. I don't have anything. But we're giving you something now. You're not just buying that land that is a choice property. So if you're also able to get 5 plots from that same layout, we are giving you an all-expense paid trip for you and a partner. So it's something, it's automatic. If you're able to get that 5 plots now.
As soon as you get the plot of land.
Yes.
5 plots, right?
If you're able to get 5 plots, it's automatic trip. Nothing,
but if you get one or two plots, you can get involved in a raffle
draw. Yes, that you will be able to go for this trip. You will pay everything. Odibola, in collaboration with the Real People's Foundation, is making this up. Like, you're going to have that investment package and also the holiday package. So this is an all expense paid trip where you travel with Akas Baba with his family. You enjoy your time there for about a week plus. So this is beautiful. This is not something you're going to pay extra for. You're having your land for 1.5 million. Now this is Quiet Heaven Layout, as I said, phase 2. It's just by the airport, the new international airport. So this is a property where you can buy and use as a warehouse. You can buy and build a guest house within. So it's wonderful. It's something you can come and see this Saturday. We are taking a lot of clients to that place to see the land. So all you need to do is come to our office at Tombia Extension, GRA Phase 3. Inyawele Insirim Layout. I'll go again with the address, GRA Phase 3, Tombia Extension, Inyawele Insirim Layout, just before Liverpool Hotel. So you can also call me on 070-123-645-10. I'll go again with the number. Please take this number and call 070-123-645-10. We are going to be traveling down to Dubai together. We'll enjoy our time there, and you're also having your investment. So all you need to do is just call up immediately,
okay, so
and we'll handle it.
So people don't miss it. I think you should call that number again.
Yes. Okay.
Before you go.
070-123-645-10. If you can't call, you can text I am interested. We'll get back to you. I'll surely get back to you so that we can enjoy our time this holiday. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Joy Hospital from Modibola Properties, and do have yourself a lovely, lovely day. All right. Stay tuned for the news update.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
Good morning, and here is the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Ifeemi Andrew. The President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has charged the media in Nigeria to prepare for a watchdog role in the next level agenda of the governing All Progressives Congress. Lawan, who made the charge while speaking at the 2019 Senate Press Corps Day and launching of West African Parliamentary Press Corps, where he was represented by his deputy Ovie Omo-Agege, said the issue of separation of powers is all about checks and balances. Charging the legislature at the federal and state levels to consistently work hard and change the lives of the people for the better, Lawan further urged the media to focus more on developmental reporting. And the Independent National Electoral Commission has said constitutional and legal alterations and amendments alone cannot solve the challenges of the electoral process in the country. INEC revealed this through its National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, at the post-2019 General Elections Review meeting with the media held in Lagos. Ahead of the forthcoming off-season elections, the Commission called on the media, civil society organizations, political parties, the executive and the legislature to tease out problematic areas of the Constitution, which would then be harvested, turned into bills, and presented to the National Assembly for legislative action. Okoye, stating that the Commission had carried out and was still carrying out in-house review of the 2019 elections, urged all stakeholders to do the same. And Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has given a marching order to the Committee for Accreditation and Approval of Private Basic Schools to visit all the private schools in the state. The governor also charged the committee members to ascertain the quality and the qualification of teachers in the schools. He gave the directive at the inauguration of the committee for the 3 senatorial districts of the state at the Federal Government House in Port Harcourt. Governor Wike warned that relationship of the committee members with proprietors of the private schools should not affect their criteria for judgment and approval of the schools. And now on foreign scene, a high-profile British government minister has called for the deadly Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo to be declared a global health emergency. The International Development Secretary, Rory Stewart, who made the appeal during a visit to Butembo, one of the areas worst affected by the virus, said the move would help to unlock desperately needed funds. Though more than 1,500 people have died in DR Congo since the outbreak began nearly a year ago, the World Health Organization has still refused to categorize it as an international emergency. And that's it on the news update for the hour. Thank you for your time and stay tuned.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
I'm T-Range calling from Imo State. My name is White calling from Bayelsa. Hello, yes, this is Udra calling from Akwa Ibom.
My name is John calling from Bayelsa.
Shamaka calling from Abia. This is Toya calling from Bayelsa.
I'm Divine calling from Port Harcourt.
With over 8 million listeners glued to this dial, why not take advantage
Showcase your product
and services to the world with rates that wouldn't break your back?
Visit us at number 1 Today FM Drive off East West Road, Rumekini, Port Harcourt, or our city office, 21 Orobon Crescent, GRA Phase 2, Port Harcourt.
Give us a call today on
0803 35 57 986 or 0810 128 2937.
We are your number 1 talk radio station. Today, 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Hi, Mommy.
Hello, my love. Missing me already?
Yes, Mommy. When are you coming?
Aw, next week, darling. And I'll be bringing delicious meals for you and all your friends.
Okay, Mommy. I can't wait to see you. Love you.
Love you too.
She says she's bringing food next week.
All of you, keep quiet. Oh yeah, fetch my water now. I can't be late for assembly.
Yes, SP.
Tunde, you're exempted.
Good taste creates great memories. Relive the memory of delicious meals cooked with Mr. Chef's Seasoning Cubes. Available in multiple variants. Mr. Chef's Seasoning Cubes are available at your nearest market or superstore. Mr. Chef's Seasoning Cubes, creating delightful memories.
Hello. Are you job ready in this digital dispensation? Are you equipped with the right tools to navigate through the evolving times? NIIT presents Digital Skills for Industry 4.0. You will be equipped with data analytics, machine learning with R and Python, Internet of Things IoT, artificial intelligence, big data, business intelligence, DevOps blockchain, DiggingNext MMS, and digital marketing. Please note, scholarship is available. Test date is Saturday, 13th July 2019. What are you waiting for? Run to number 1 Cardinal Street, D-Line, Port Harcourt, and book your space. Or call
0817 389 0176 or 0806 962 5113
or visit www.niit.com/Nigeria to apply for the scholarship.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
I'm T-Range calling from Imo State.
My name is White calling from Bayelsa.
Hello, yes, this is Udra calling from Akwa Ibom.
My name is John calling from Bayelsa.
Shamaka calling from Abia.
This is Toya calling from Bayelsa. I'm Divine calling from Port Harcourt.
With over 8 million listeners glued to this dial, why not take advantage
Showcase your product
and services to the world with rates that wouldn't break your back?
Visit us at number 1 Today FM Drive off East West Road, Rumekini, Port Harcourt, or our city office, 21 Orobon Crescent, GRA Phase 2, Port Harcourt.
Give us a call today on
0803 35 57 986 or 0810 128 2937.
We are your number 1 talk radio station. Today, 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
Good morning, sir.
My pikin, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, sir.
You dey go school?
Yes, sir.
Make sure say you read.
Madam, please, can I have 1 small juice and 2 biscuits there? Please be fast.
Okay, customer, pay no vex. I dey come, make her bring them.
Please, let me talk.
No, you're late. You're late already.
Plantain, buy plantain.
See as this small girl dey cross this busy road anyhow.
Sweet plantain.
So, your mama no know say you too young to dey hawk? Now one for mama. Oh, I bet come on for it. Make I cross road. Made in China.
Oh, buy your plantain.
The fact that you're not financially buoyant doesn't mean that you should abuse your child. Most times, these children don't have the capacity or knowledge to carry on these tasks. Education, they say, is an important aspect in a child's life. So do well not to take away that opportunity from them, as it will affect them later in the future. Remember that giving out your child for early marriage could also affect the child's life. So stop child trafficking. Avoid sending them out in the name of making money, because the children today are the leaders of tomorrow. Don't ruin their future with your ignorance. Say no today to child abuse. Say no today to child trafficking. Say no today to child marriage. This message is brought to you by Today95.1 FM.
We are the future. We are the dream. We are the nation. We are part of this. Yes, we are so amazing. That's the least we shall be.
Here at Today, we bring you what you need to hear.
But this is what they're going after. They're not going to
It has to be applicable to all situations.
No, it cannot be, because when the evidence.
Some people are not sure of 1 meal a day in a society with such huge potentials. If a criminal passes that place, whichever means he used in passing, and you turn around to blame the citizen, for instance, people will ask you, were you not there? Malaria kills Nigerians. Malaria.
News.
This is the World News. I am Annie Abdul Salam. In the headlines, Federal Executive
Sports and entertainment.
Straight up to football on the show.
This is Today. Every day, 24/7, 365. We are your official all-year radio station. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
They're saying that the explanation given by the military was not enough to say that he saved up to buy those houses or to buy. Let me just quickly get your thoughts here so that we throw that into the opinion program. I think I have a picture of what Fayose looked like on that day and what he was saying from that caption. It's not just giving him a certificate. We must see the
consequential order must be obeyed first, as to even those who have not attended the law class. Now you want that place is that place.
This is where it comes.
So why don't we start that first? You have that angle open now. Nothing is holding you from doing that now.
You look at it and make sure and understand that restructuring is what Nigeria needs.
Today's Quest from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Catch Annie on this frequency, Monday to Friday.
That is absolutely their position. Respect the law. Now the question will be which law?
Today's Quest, a sure way to start your day.
Because he hasn't really done anything here.
Yes.
Because both parties are contending.
Wake up to Today's Quest.
Wake up.
All the news and information you need in one go. Get started with the best of sports, lifestyle, analysis, and Annie.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Can you feel it? Wake up to Today's Quest with Annie on Today 95.1 FM. From 6 to 11 a.m. weekdays. Fantastic.
your premium talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM. Very heated debates going on in the studios already. And this is the other half of today's quest. You're welcome to Opinion Poll. My name is Ifeemi Andrew, and more guests with us in the studio. Let me quickly introduce Wardi Chimenem Esquire, member Civil Liberty Organization and spokesman, appraisal for good governance in Rivers State. You're welcome.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm here. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
I'm happy to see your face.
Fortunately or unfortunately, it's going
good morning,
to be
Rivers people. Good morning, Chief.
When Annie returns.
Good morning, my audience.
We still have Obidima JP, journalist, public affairs analyst with us in the studio. And of course, Mr. Emmanuel Ndukwe is still very much with us. And gentlemen, we are moving on to something that's quite interesting. And it's going to really catch a lot of our attention today on Real Talk. Two major issues picked up here. One coming from Can, and the other one is coming from, Southern Youths to Northern Coalition. That's some of the issues that we are looking at on Opinion Poll this morning. Stop beating war drums. Southern Youths are warning Northern Coalition. The Middle Belt and Southern Youths together, known as Citizens Against Tyranny, or Tyranny if you want to call it, have cautioned the coalition of northern groups which recently issued a 30-day ultimatum for the suspended Ruga settlement policy to be implemented, or they would move against Southerners residents in the north to stop beating drums of war. Now, if we remember vividly in that ultimatum that was issued, we had the northern group also saying that if people from the north, from the Fulani extraction, are not allowed to live in the southern or southeastern part of the country and do their business freely, then they might have to also say that people from the south or southeast part of the country might not be allowed to do their business freely in those areas. So it's gradually becoming a thing of war. The vice president rightly put, he said ethno-religious sentiments is the major reason, or fear is the major problem we have in Nigeria at the moment, and we've never seen it as we are seeing it now, according to him. Describing the policy as a clear annexation scheme, they vowed that no millimeter of land would be ceded in the south and middle belt for Ruga or any of such activity. Another thing I pointed out is, in as much as the federal government has suspended the Ruga initiative, it is still causing trouble even now that it's been suspended. In fact, it's more intense now that it's been suspended than it was while the idea was on. So it means that there is really something wrong somewhere. And in this message from the Citizens Against Tyranny, it contained in a communique issued yesterday by the international coordinator, Igbo Renaissance Forum, Nze Ugo Akpe Onwuka, President General Midwest Movement, Dr. Don Pedro Obasaki, President Middle Belt Youth Council, Ima Zokmal, National President Yoruba Youth Council, Eric Oluwole, and Coordinator Awake Nigeria UK, Otumba Oluseyi. All of them came together to say this. I quote, "We have made our stand very clear as a people that no single millimeter of land in the southwest, southeast, middle belt, and south-south shall be annexed under any name, Ruga or its disguised equivalent." That's where we stand. Yesterday, IPOB was alleging that two governors from the east might be working with these killer headsmen and are planning to give out their lands, although a top religious leader came out to say nothing of such is going to happen in the eastern part of the country. Well, before we go further, let me quickly introduce with us in the studio Dr. Austin Sado, lecturer, Linguistic and Communication Studies, University of Port Harcourt. Doc, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, listeners.
I hope ASU is not going on strike.
ASU is not synonymous with strike.
Okay, nice response. Hopefully it doesn't happen. But thank you, Doc, for coming. Right, let's get back to this business now. So this seemed to be a huge issue. And ever since that ultimatum was given, many have said, is this a threat? And I woke up this morning to a news from a friend of mine along the, I was telling Mr. Malonduko this morning, Benin-Lagos Expressway, they were attacked by herdsmen and his car was shot. And this morning he called me And then I went online and saw the video. He said he already posted the video. And then if not for some security men who were in his vehicle who shot back at the people before they left the roads. Where does this then leave us? Does this make a case for the settlement of this herders-farmers clash that we're having in the country? Obidima, I'll quickly start from you.
Yes, we're quite in very interesting times. And the time calls for a kind of redefinition of our nation, whether it's a country or not. Unfortunately, and unfortunately, all these things are going on. The president of the country appears to be silent over it and saying nothing and doing nothing.
He just got back, though. I think he was in.
It
was in Niamey.
No, how many days? Because they said that a president can be in anywhere
and still run the affairs of the country.
They said so. That it was anywhere is not a kind of excuse, but that issue was done before he even left for that meeting, that summit. But what I'm trying to say is this: you see, what is source for the geese should also be source for the gander. The IPOB, when they came up here, with the government saw that group as a threat. Even the leader of that group, he was incarcerated, and so many things happened. People were killed, and they were declared a terrorist organization. Now, these Fulani herdsmen, they have been carrying on their hideous agenda for the past 4 years or thereabout. Even if they are listed as a terrorist group globally, the government, the federal government, has refused to declare them here a terrorist group. And we don't even see any of them arrested. Even if they were arrested, prosecuted. And the consequences of the law meted. I've not seen that. And that has given them a kind of impunity to continue to do what they are doing. I want to agree with El-Rufai when he was making a statement about poverty in the north, that if you see the north and see the south, you may think there are two countries in one. Yet this, what we are saying today is that, there are two countries in one. There are those who are above the law. There are those who are subject to the law. If they are issuing a threat that if they don't allow them do their business, they will not allow certain ethnic groups do their own business in their own place. What is doing business? What are the Igbos doing in the north? They're in a place selling their goods in a marketplace. What do you want to do here? You want to take people's land? We have a cattle market in Okigwe. Is it not business? Are you not allowed to do marketing there? There are slaughters here that are even controlled by this outside doing their business. They are doing business or swear here. Who said they are not doing business? Must your business be that you must appropriate people's land? You must move into somebody's farm to eat up their crops? You see, the point is that we are dealing with a set of people who have a primitive orientation, who are still have this Stone Age mindset. And how many countries today are allowing these cars run their streets, run their roads, run their bushes? How many countries in the world, except this country, Nigeria? And yet, even our own president is supporting when Kadiria anchored this town hall meeting or debate over the television before the election. I was surprised to hear from I watched it, to hear from the president that the government should open the grazing routes. And that is his own concept. of mitigating this problem without adopting a strategy that other countries have adopted in a private business like this. The point is that must you occupy the whole of this country to do your business? Why this will move and all that the government is spending energy is how to placate this set of people, how to look at their welfare. You come with a cattle reserve, people said no. You come with colony, you came up with a Fulani herdsman radio, you came up with Naruga. And you leave the thing that people are saying that this is the most important thing that we should engage us. Ranching. They don't want to go, they don't even want to talk about ranching. They don't want to even hear about that because they want where they will establish an emirate in future.
Okay.
And I want to say this before I end. Who are those people who want to do this business? The Sultan of Sokoto had him clearly. When this issue started, that day people they are foreigners. They are from Mali and all those things. I also heard it from some northern elites. Even the president himself. Now, are we not trying to appropriate people, to bring these people, to settle these people who are from other countries? Then you now build a place. Tomorrow, it's difficult for them to leave that place. Who said that this state, River State, will not provide a place for ranching? If you want to ranch, if you want to do ranching business, if you want to stay in a place to do your business, than taking a colony. But I'm surprised. I'm very surprised.
We have to interrupt you there. So we'll move
I'm
on.
very surprised that the Southeast and South states have not come up with laws to regulate this thing so far.
Okay, let's get to Doc quickly. Something that they also said, we also demand, I quote them now, we also demand that the federal government should desist with immediate effect from any further action on Ruga settlements in the middle belt and southern regions of the country, as it has the propensity of igniting civil war. Also, Khan says that the federal government is being preferential in the treatment to herdsmen. The ultimatum that we have and what we have on ground now happening. One question many have asked is, why are all the ideas to solve this clash between farmers and herders built on giving out land or occupying a space in different parts of the country? Aren't there other ways to solve the problem? These are all the questions. And since the ultimatum, many said ordinarily we should have gotten a response from the government, the presidency, or even security agencies to question the groups and say, why make such a statement? And what could this lead to if perhaps we begin to see activities like the one I woke up to this morning happen in this region? Do we then begin to should we say we might expect a civil war? Because that is what the group is saying, that this might lead to a civil war. You think that could happen?
Well, I cannot predict what will happen, and I don't think anybody could predict what will happen. But there's a rolling stone, and it's for the political actors to realize that they have a mandate to deal with this issue dispassionately. Nigeria is a peculiar country. But for our peculiarity, this country will have gone up in flames. If you look at what had happened in other countries and come into this country and see the type of things that are happening, and yet
we're still together,
we live as if nothing is happening, you must see that this country is a peculiar country. Whether it is negative or positive is a different issue. Now, our leadership needs to have more of nationalistic approach to issues. Nationalism is something that we have to think about. The views of those who are sent to power, we have to understand their mentality before we even give power to them. Because power in the hands of an ethnic jingoist is a terrible weapon that could destroy. And where we are now, we are not sure that the people that have ascended, the people that are and the corridors of power, that they understand what the concept Nigeria. It doesn't matter how we came together. It appears they don't understand what the concept Nigeria means as a nation and what the concept of ethnicism means within the enclaves where these ethnic groups live. And I think that's a major conflict. It appears that in the minds of some persons, what should be appropriated nationally could be appropriated to a certain group of people, and there's no problem. And once you have that kind of contention, it's going to come to a point when people will fight back. There will be a resistance. And the outcome of that resistance, nobody can tell you exactly what it will be. And I hope we don't get to a point where it gets into armed struggle. Because from where we're going, and you will have expected that after that man gave that threat, that you will have heard something about statement. That man, that statement is wrong. Government will still arrest the people that are making this kind of statement. Nobody has said anything about it. Yeah, there's some other sessions where somebody will say something, you send the military after them, you destroy homes, you do all manner of things. Are there second-class citizens and first-class citizens in this country?
Does that then affirm this part of CAN where they say that these herdsmen are being given preferential treatment by the government?
Well, I don't even know if they're herdsmen, but they're a group of people. Because, like the case you're talking about, I watched on video. They didn't say herdsmen, and we didn't see those people. Even if they were herdsmen there could be herdsmen from the south. So the point, I just want us to disabuse our mind from the idea that if they are herdsmen, they are of northern origin. They could be amongst us. So government also needs to step in with that understanding that it doesn't matter where these people come from. Any man involved in criminality must be dealt with. What did government do? Government said they have suspended. And that's because you alluded to that it appears that there is more trouble now than initial time when it was mentioned. Why so? Because government said we have suspended. And people say, oh, suspension, it means you're going to strategize on how to come back. And you can hear all manner of things coming on, people saying, well, they want to amend the constitution to have the Land Use Act and all that, so that federal government will now be in charge of land instead of state governors. And when that happens, they can appropriate. You give room for all forms of rumors. And once it begins to happen like this, it's a wildfire that as it continues, if it's not controlled, it will destroy the entire nation. So I think that the first thing government needs to do is to stem down this crisis, deal with the issues of people who are making inflammatory statements, get them arrested, persecute them, and reassure the people. You don't just have to suspend. This problem, this Ruga thing had never been in existence. It's not been in practice. They've been trying to find a way of ameliorating the effect of what is happening, and Ruga is not the solution. Stop it entirely.
Khan also mentioned something. They said if you are doing this for the herders, perhaps because they lost their cows and there's been a lot of conflict between them and the farmers. What about the farmers who lost their crops and a source of livelihood? Some of them were displaced. What would be your plan for
that's
them?
The concept. That's the concept of first and second class citizens. To some persons, their business must be protected. To others, you must destroy it to support this. Government needs to show people that we are all citizens of this country. And we are equal stakeholders in this country. And if government fails to do that, I'm afraid nobody will be able to estimate what will befall this country.
All right. Nobody would be able to estimate what would befall this country. What do you think about this? What do you make of this? What's your contribution to it?
Well, so far, I think we are sitting on top of a time bomb. Sorry to say this. I would have used a more better euphemism, but we have to be very, very blunt about what is going on, because there is a problem going on in this country, and not until we start identifying it. Clearly, for quite some weeks now, I keep saying that, do we really have an institution? Do we really have, the presidency? Do we really have body that are saddled with the responsibility of reconciling issues? I have lived in the part of the north. In fact, where I schooled was Kano, squarely in Kano. And I discovered that there are overlords. Over time, I began to look at the Land Use Act. when did land start belonging to individual when it comes to the Land Use Act? Because when you read the letters in the Land Use Act, you will know that land is vested. The governor of a state is the trustee of land. Now, when do we start individuating land to individuals? How do people now begin to impose land? If people begin to acquire land through conquest, people now tell you what to do. And that is what is coming out. We have seen the worst of Mieti Allah. That was last year. When they came up with an insider statement, nobody arrested them. We have seen a lot of actions that are carried out by elites. We have seen professors in the north make statements that are insider. Has anybody arrested them? Each time they say they are regulating the system, each time we come to media, they say the people are regulating, we should be very careful. But we must be sincere as Nigerians. Apart from the Freedom of Information Act, I think there are other ways as Nigerians, by virtue of Section 36, 37 of the 1990, that we all have right to speak. And with that right in the Freedom of Information Bill, I think we equally have to say the truth as Nigerians. We're under oath to speak the truth. Now, what is going on? They have suspended, federal government came up with ranches. And that didn't work. People came out. Authorities posited, made their submissions. Said, look, ranches will be enough. Will be okay. Because ranches has to do with a situation where you have to, keep a colony. Foods and all the rest will be, given to these cows since they have been given importance. Now, these are the ways we can do it to curtail most of these crises. Federal government kept adamant. And I don't know how the issue of that ranches went down the drain. Now they have come up with Ruga. Now, when you begin to talk about Ruga, you're talking about settlement, where you have, it comes with a lot of things, where you have hospital, colleges, you have schools, and all the rest. Now you're talking about a village. That is hectares of land. Now let's just take about South River State as a locus classicus. River State, do we really have a land? Do we really have a land? Looking at the topography where River State is located, do we have a land? And even if we have, lands are owned by the rural communities. Even when we discuss about the issue of Land Use Act, are we really talking about the right of occupancy where lands are owned by community heads? Have they been able to reconcile it? Because we have seen government allot land to individuals, to government, and at the end of the day, the community will go to court. The community will go to court. Most of the cases in court are communities, suing the government at the end of the day that this land belongs to us. So the issue of right of occupancy and the Land Use Act have not been reconciled. There is a disability there. So, but my question is that how, upon all this agitation, the presidency has kept mute. Do we really have a president? Do we have presidency?
Well, we have a president.
When actions like this, insider statement comes like this, those that are involved, those that are culpable should be arrested. And that is why we keep shouting, are there sacred cows in this country? Are there those that are above the law? What is the essence of Section 1, Sub 1 and Sub 2, 3 of the 1999 Constitution? Is it not workable? I think what we are practicing in Nigeria is oligarchy system of government. We are some group of powerful individuals are holding this country ransom. So I think that we must begin to look at this. If you look at the recipes that caused the Nigerian Biafra war, it was agitation, the pogroms of the Igbos and other people. We saw how they were massacred. Gowon at a point couldn't do anything. He got tired. And a lot of reports, agitations, marginalization, the uneven character distribution. That is what is going on. Where some sections have taken over the administrative system of governance, and while others are left in wallow. So I think we must begin to reconcile. My position will be the remedy. The remedy is that government will have to go back to its drawing board. Who are these people in the governance? If there are no brains, I think you have to employ, I've said it, look, the lecturers are there in the university. You can employ them to assist governance. The governance is dying on daily basis in Nigeria. For God's sake, how will one person arrogate power to himself? Take the power of Federal Republic of Nigeria to come out on air in a live television to say, look, I will do like this if you don't do like this. Who are this group of persons? Can they be arrested? Look at the case of Nnamdi Kanu. It didn't take some days. Look at the case that happened in the Niger Delta, where some group of boys who saw themselves as overlords. Government came after them and killed. We saw the case of Don Wani. We saw the rest. Government came with its power. Why can't they arrest these persons? And we have seen that, there is a media hype where they even say that if anybody makes an insider statement, the person should be arrested. And people are just afraid. Why some persons are taking advantage of it? The Mieti Allah representative came out some months back, made an incitory statement. We have heard several things emanating from Aerofile and all the rest. So these boys are taking cue. How do we reconcile this thing? Government must be sincere. There is the mutinous is much. Government must come out and be sincere. He must understand that there is a responsibility under oath. You owe a responsibility under oath to protect life and property. And that is why we keep saying, who are these people saying at so time you begin to give ultimatum to some group of individuals? Of what right do you have? So I think government must be responsive and responsible to look at these persons. Who are these persons? Even though they are in the governance, there is a principle of autonomy and constitutionalism. You are not above the law, you are under the law. And as such, you must obey the ground norm. And the ground norm is the constitution. So what I'm saying is that government must stand up, boldly to arrest these persons. Because one is incitory. It's incitory. If you look at the statement emanating from this
said,
group.
and Khan stating, obviously, they said that they suspect, according to Khan, that there are underground works still ongoing to see how this ROGAT project would be fully implemented. But this is where it's catchy what they stated. I quote, "We do not have land to give to anybody as a grazing field or colony, and we call on the Southeast governors to maintain their stand that they do not have such a place. Do you know what it means to give 10 acres of land to herdsmen? We say no to that. As Khan will preach it from our pulpit, every imam should preach from the mosque, and traditionalists should stand against it. Nobody should relent, no land should be given." And then they said, any traditional ruler that does that should be dethroned. All right. Now, are we not also pushing very far and fanning the ambience of war with how we hope to handle this situation, how we seek to, I think what Obedima was saying, we haven't really even heard the governors of some of these states come out to make statements on these issues. They haven't. So far, so good. We know of Rivers State. I think Ebonyi State, Dave Umahi as well. I think Benue State also. We haven't heard from most of the other states. We know in Delta State too, the governor has stated that. But we haven't heard from many of the other states in the east and even some here in the south. Those states also said that they already had an arrangement with Miyetti Allah on how to sort out this problem, and they are not giving out land. Now, what we are hearing now are different groups, the Pandev, the Mohanes Zendibo, and Khan, and many other groups who are coming out to give these warnings. And Khan now saying that any traditional ruler that would give out land should be dethroned. Aren't we also in our own way fanning the ambience of war in how we handle the situation?
I don't think we are fanning the embers of war. Look, like I said, if we have a responsive, with due respect, a responsible government, the essence of governance is to make consultations. You are answerable, accountable to the electorate. If there is proper or there were proper consultations, I'm sure the government, some of these governors would have been sitting on a round table, and of course they will keep this thing in the front burner and discuss it properly. If proper media consciousness had been created by federal government, of course it would have stemmed the tide of that mindset of each time you hear herdsmen, there is this thought of collateral damage. These people are, in fact, you should be very careful with them. Of course, we have had the antecedent of the herdsmen. There is nobody that will tell you that they will allot land to these people, that this mindset will not come up. In quotes, God, they might. We have seen the issue of plateau, the issue of grabbing of land, conquest. It was, look at the historical background. They came via mining, and before you know, population explosion. They began, intermarriages. Before you know, they started, grabbing land. So this mindset, how do we reconcile it? You have to educate the people. And that is the responsibility of a government that is in place, that has the mind of the people in place. That is the responsibility of government to have created a media consciousness that we are rebranding it, and that who are the persons that are going to champion this thing. You profile the process. What are the processes in place? You just came and impose. When there are, problem in the front burner, have they been able to reconcile it? Look at the death in Agatu. Look at Plateau State, which is a continuous, ground for killing. And we've had, I don't think there is any place in the south or southwest, even in the middle belt, that want to accommodate this kind of thing. Herdsmen allotting land to them. I think there is a problem. Have we reconciled it? So I think it is on that ground, and it is on that basis that Khan is looking at it. Is federal government silent? Remember how many churches were burnt? How many of these crises? I mean, it has been a recurring decimal. Each time you see herders farmers crisis, have they reconciled it? We have had a lot of communique. We have had a lot of symposium coming out. We have seen people coming out with white paper. Has government implemented it? So you can see the level of deafness within the ambit of governance. We have seen the level of muteness, and it's as a result of it that CAN is standing on that, that pillar to say, look, we will not accept this. So it's a caveat.
All right.
It's a caveat. And we have seen a lot of premonition emanating from these headsmen. Each time they issue their threat, they will carry it out. Look at the last time they asked the commissioner of police to go to, the IG of police to go to Benue. Immediately he arrived there, so many persons were killed. This headsman doesn't look at anybody. So have we been able to reconcile the issues in the front burner? And looking at the position of CAN over the years, they've been writing to federal government. Federal government have been adamant over the issue of herdsmen. Are they all the overlords? Are they the president of this country? So it is on that ground that
thank you very much. Let's move on now to
Christian organization is coming up.
Mr. Malundukwe, what do you have to say about this?
Well, I think I want to start emphatically by stating that we have president in this country, and his name is Muhammadu Buhari, and we have presidency. Those facts clear the way. Then I can take a shot at this. Maybe to add, is the presidency working? Yes, to some people, no, but to some others, yes. That's the way it stands. Now, when people are saying, I think you said the southern youths,
yes,
are telling the northern coalition not to beat the drum of war, I think I agree with that statement. Yes, because the action from the comments of the northern coalition is certainly beating the drums of war. I am one person who believes that in this life, there is no village, I want to say it in that fashion, there is no village that does not have a strong man. And so violence can never be a monopoly of one individual or any section of a nation. And so when you come up in this kind of issue that is government-driven, and then you start sectionalizing it by the youth body coming up to issue instruction, and in fact, not even respecting the president, they look at coming from their own side by giving him either a 2-week ultimatum or 1 month or 2 months. I can't remember exactly, but they gave us
30 days.
Good. That's 1 month ultimatum. And that is insulting to the president and to Nigeria as a country. Now they are saying you must, as the president suspended the Ruga, remember the president said that what is stated in this Ruga issue is not mirrored in the plans they had, which of course was with the national something about livestock.
Livestock, yeah.
Which should be driven by the vice president's office. And don't forget that the vice president that is supposed to be in charge was asked about the Ruga issue. He said he doesn't know anything about that. Meanwhile, an aide to the president, Garuba Shehu, was stating everything as if everybody was aware. And that is where I said the president himself cannot extricate himself by saying that, no, he doesn't know much about that. I know that if I'm in charge of anything and delegation of authority is natural, and I happen to delegate something to Obidima, for instance, Obidima finishes that, he has to bring it back to me because I was the one that get that job. So if he doesn't, then I will even ask. Obidima cannot just finish and then go public and start talking about. We've also heard that money, maybe part of it was released. 20 billion or something they said about this Ruga. But with the outcry almost everywhere, the president shows listenership in suspending it. That particular day he made the suspension announcement, I said, well, it was not yet Uhuru. Because that's not enough to quell that particular agitation in the minds of people. Because see, once you introduce anything and then put it in the domain of secrecy, you now create room for suspicion. A very wide one. And that is exactly what is going on. Nigerians are now trying to decode what could be responsible for this particular suspension, not cancellation, with the outcry that followed this. And remember the youth, the Northern Youth Coalition is saying, go on with Ruga. If not, we'll make not uncomfortable for others. I tell you, anybody that hears such comments, a government that hears such comments and still leave those individuals who make it without arresting them, there will still be spiraling of suspicions from people, speculations rather, and suspicions. Now people will be asking, what are they waiting for? Remember what I said, no section of the country has monopoly of violence. So it is very easy. But I must also emphatically state, I do not understand the interest of Khan in this. Let me be plain. I stand to be corrected by anybody who feels he understands it better. Because this is not a religious affair. See, Khan is, the membership of Khan constitutes also the citizenry of Nigeria. And I think this is a political issue, completely. And it should be dealt at that level. When you are talking about governors have not met, for instance, as Obidima mentioned, the laws. I know this, with the instrumentality of the state houses of assembly, laws could come up to state, look at what we want to do in relation to this issue. That is at that level, governmental issues, not religious issues. Now, as Khan step in, I don't know the equivalent of the Islamic people.
Yeah.
If they come up, you keep on hitting up the polity. Why not Khan know exactly where it should start and end? Let Khan concentrate on their own area. The politicians should handle this issue. Because I tell you, if people reject any policy of government, it will not sell through. Come to think of it, how can you, even with lawyers who are talking about the Land Use Act and all the nitty-gritty in that particular document, vesting the authority, as it were, majorly on governors, and governors were not invited, and then these things were taken as a decision.
And that's another thing to look at. The fact that the governors were not also part of the
is it an imposition? And remember what I said earlier, Nigeria is not practicing democracy. Is this democracy or what?
But the Southern Youth also said something. They say, and I quote, "Let those clowns know that the Southern Nigerians they seek to visit with violence shall surely not fold their arms and wait to be maimed and killed. We still have the option of calling for a referendum to renegotiate this space and restructure Nigeria to avoid a major conflagration, courtesy of such ill-advised and venomous threats from a section of the country who think they have the monopoly of violence." So now, are we going to perhaps see a separation of Nigeria? Because that's where they are pointing towards. Like, it's possible that if that's the case, then Nigeria should divide and everybody go on their own way and everybody does what he or she wants to do. Is that a solution?
I don't think it's reached that level. You know, everything has steps. You can't one before two, I always say. Once you are talking about separation, yes, the authorities of this nation, for instance, the president and perhaps the presidency and all agencies of government, once, like they now talk about this Ruga, is suspended and we are waiting. And I think instead of it to be allowed to degenerate, I think they better allow the suspension, perhaps remain suspension, or now graduate it to cancellation. But where they insist, listen, where they insist that no,
it must be carried
out. It must be executed. That's where people, maybe from other sections, may look at it and say, are we second-class citizens? And I do not think that if themselves also rise up and say, we will not accept this, that there will be peace in the country. Whichever form that peace or that lack of it may take, Emmanuel Ndukwe may not know.
All right, Doc, quickly. We'll come, Obiba. We'll continue on this even after the news update because there are many more questions that I'd love to ask. But let's just tackle this referendum suggestion that was made by the Southern Youth.
I think there's a problem in this country. There's a mutual suspicion. And it goes to show the ineptitude of people in power. Referendum does not equate to division or separation. Referendum will have some items to be decided. What do we, depending on what the referendum is all about. If you're going to have a restructured in Nigeria, that's not about go your way. It is the terms of that restructure that will determine whether it is acceptable to me or not acceptable to me. Have you seen, we used to have 6 geopolitical zones in this country. We have added another one. The Middle Belt has now emerged as a geopolitical zone. Middle Belt used to be part of what we call the North Central. So if you...
There was even an argument that they were not part of the North. I think they started that argument.
Now, if you look at the argument that is going on now, the Middle Belt is already extricating itself from the North Central and now asserting its own position as Middle Belt. And that should show the leaders of this country that whatever arrangement they have politically is not working. That there is a need for us to renegotiate the terms of this coexistence. And if we properly do it, in fact, as what they were speaking earlier on, something just occurred to me. When we were in secondary school, we were taught comparative advantage as a basis of competing on the economic platform. So if you have cattle in the north and you don't have resources to take care of those cattle, it means you don't have comparative advantage in that business. Now, where are the groundnut pyramids? As a young person, what I knew beyond cattle was groundnut. And I think that groundnut still has a lot of economic values. Why are they not involved in groundnut farming? Why is it that it is this cattle rearing that has become the issue? And except it is cattle, there is no business in the north. Why is it so? Coupled again with the idea that people have argued that many of these people are not Nigerians. So there's mutual suspicion, but I don't think that any negotiation or discussion on the round table will mean separation. People must take away this fear and come to understand that incivility is not going to help this country. We must respect the views of every person who is a stakeholder in this country, and not just respect, it must be seen to be respected. So when people think about making sacrifice from their own domain, they understand also that the other party is going to make some concession. Unfortunately, people have come to the point that land is a major resource of production, and land is the issue in contention. So if you take the land away from me, what else do I have? So it's a big problem, but people must have open mind to understand that if we have to talk about restructuring does not mean separation, it does not mean division. Referendum does not mean, the only item is let us determine whether or not we're going to remain one or we're going to divide. In any case, there could also be sense if people agree that let us come together. You must understand that the unity of an indivisible Nigeria is better than a fragmented Nigeria. So if you want to be part of that bigger country, then you must make some effort to make sure that that country is together. It's not for you to just throw it at the face of the other person. If you don't want it that way, forget it. No. You must understand that you're going to lose something. Everybody will lose.
We'll lose something.
If we divide this country, both the north and the south, we lose. I was listening to Farid Zakaria on his contribution about the struggle between China and the United States. And he made a valid point. He said, there are two major blocks, economic blocks in the world, China and America. Europe is pretending to be a one economic block.
Pretending.
Yeah, because
they really are not.
Yes, because that's over 26 countries coming together as one. And from what's happening in Brexit, you can see
the difficulties
that
they are facing.
Could be hot. Now, America is the only one that is standing up to China. Exactly the same thing it is with us in this country. 1 out of every 4 black person is a Nigerian. It is because we are united. It's because we are one. If you divide this country into 1, into 2 or 3, we will water that effect. Then the impact of Nigeria, both in ECOWAS, both in African Union, will be watered down. So we need to understand that it's not going to do anybody any good. And so these people in government must realize that we must explain to our people that war is not going to help us, dividing is not going to help us, because if we have to build a strong economy, you need the population to market your product.
All right. When we return after the break, Obidima, I know you have thoughts, as well as Wadi. We are going to take those thoughts. But for now, let's go straight to the news update. As soon as we return, we continue with today's quest. Don't touch your dial. Our guest is still very much here with us in the studio. We'll be right back in just a minute.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about.
Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
All right, good morning, and here is the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Ifeimi Andrew. This report says 2 warring cult groups in Emoha local government area of Rivers State have embraced peace and promised to stop fighting. Members of the cult groups also pleaded for forgiveness and asked to be involved in the development of the local government. One of the facilitators of the peace move, Chief Sergeant Awuse, who spoke on behalf of the chiefs of Emoha Kingdom, said they are happy for the huge steps taken by the repentant cultist. In the meantime, authorities of the local government have directed security operatives to arrest and prosecute anyone in the act of crime. And the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has given a marching order to the Committee for Accreditation and Approval of Private Basic Schools to visit all the private schools in the state. The governor also charged the committee members to ascertain the quality and the qualification of teachers in the schools. He gave the directive at the inauguration of the committee for the 3 senatorial districts of the state at the Government House in Port Harcourt. Governor Wike warned that relationship of the committee members with proprietors of the private schools should not affect their criteria for judgment and approval of the schools. And the president of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has charged the media in Nigeria to prepare for a watchdog role in the next level agenda of the governing All Progressives Congress. Lawan, who gave the charge while speaking at the 2019 Senate Press Corps Day and launching of West African Parliamentary Press Corps, where he was represented by his deputy, Ovie Omo Agege, said the issue of separation of powers is all about checks and balances. Charging the legislature at the federal and state levels to consistently work hard and change the lives of people for the better, Lawan further urged the media to focus more on developmental reporting. And away from that, Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has said constitutional and legal alterations and amendments alone cannot solve the challenges of the electoral process in the country. INEC revealed this through its National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, at the post-2019 General Elections Review meeting with the media held in Lagos. Ahead of the forthcoming off-season elections, the Commission called on the media, civil society organizations, political parties, the executive and the legislature to tease out problematic areas of the Constitution, which would then be harvested, turned into bills, and presented to the National Assembly for legislative action. Okoye, stating that the Commission had carried out and was still carrying out in-house review of the 2019 elections, urged all stakeholders to do the same. And now on the foreign scene, United Kingdom's government has reaffirmed its full support for the UK's ambassador to the United States after Donald Trump said he will no longer work with him. The US president was responding after leaked emails revealed Kim Darroch had called his administration inept. In a series of tweets, Trump also criticized Theresa May's handling of Brexit, saying she's created a mess. Downing Street called the leak unfortunate and said the UK and US still shared a special and enduring relationship. And that's it on the news update for the hour. Thank you for your time and stay tuned.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Good morning, sir.
My pikin, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, sir.
You dey go school?
Yes, sir.
Make sure say you read.
Madam, please, can I have one small juice and 2 biscuits there? Please be fast.
Okay, customer, pay no vex. I dey come, make a bring them.
Let me talk.
No, you're late. You're late already.
Plantain, buy plantain.
See as this small girl dey cross this busy road anyhow.
Sweet plantain.
So your mama no know say you too young to dey hawk?
Now one for mama. I bet come for it, make I cross road.
Made in China.
Oh, buy your plantain.
Leave the road.
The fact that you're not financially buoyant doesn't mean that you should abuse your child. Most times, these children don't have the capacity or knowledge to carry on the tasks. Education, they say, is an important aspect in a child's life. So do well not to take away that opportunity from them, as it will affect them later in the future. Remember that giving out your child for early marriage could also affect the child's life. So stop child trafficking. Avoid sending them out in the name of making money, because the children today are the leaders of tomorrow. Don't ruin their future with your ignorance. Say no today to child abuse. Say no today to child trafficking. Say no today to child marriage. This message is brought to you by Today95.1 FM.
We are the future. We are the dream. We are the nation. We are part of this. Yes, we are so amazing. That's the least we shall be.
Cultism is a monster whose ravaging effects have left tales of woes such as loss of lives, kidnapping, drug abuse, threats, destruction of properties, blackmail, rape, and many other ills in society. In our society today, poor parental training, peer pressure, poverty, quest for power and social identity are the leading factors that contributes to youths indulging in this act. Again, peace can be restored to our society only and only if we attach value to human lives. And this would bring about rapid development to our community. Say no to cultism. This message is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
Hey, you want to speed drive? Come on, go to the racetrack. You want to smoke? Not on the steering wheel. You want to drink alcohol? Don't do it on wheels. Go to a bar and don't drive afterwards. Seatbelts are not for fancy. They're there to save your life. Know your traffic rules and obey them, because they are for your own good. Drive with care, because life is dear.
Or here too tight for another person to sit down for this place.
Abobe, march down, Moko, come on here.
Madam, na so you dey tea reach. How you go chop banana finish, wrap am for nylon, put am inside your bag? When you dey close to window, you no fit throw am now. Abeg go, na so you dey tea reach.
Abeg, make I calm down.
Don't you know that banana peels are slippery? It can actually cause an accident. And moreover, you are not supposed to throw things on the road. You should pack your rubbish until you get to a trash can where you can dispose it properly. We all have a responsibility to keep the state clean. Keeping the state clean will help stop the spread of diseases and leave our city looking beautiful. So, Oga and Madam, let's stop dumping refuse anyhow on the roads. Let's join our hands together to keep our state clean, to keep River State clean.
This message is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM.
Port Harcourt.
Here at Today, we bring you what you need to hear.
This is what they're going after. They're not going to Let me learn it has to be applicable to all situations. No, it cannot be, because when the evidence...
Some people are not sure of 1 meal a day. in a society with such huge potentials. If a criminal passes that place, whichever means he used in passing, and you turn around to blame the citizen, for instance, people will ask you, were you not there? Malaria kills Nigerians. Malaria.
News. This is the World News. I am Annie Abdul Salam. In the headlines, Federal Executive
Sports and entertainment. My name is Chubogu Nadir. Straight up to football on the show.
This is Today. Every day, 24/7, 365. We are your official all-year radio station.
They're saying that the explanation given by the military was not enough to say that he saved up to buy those houses or to buy. Man, let me just quickly get your thoughts here so that we throw that into the opinion program. I think I have a picture of what fire should look like on that.
Wake up to today's quest.
Wake up.
All the news and information you need in one go. Get started with the best of sports, lifestyle, analysis, and Annie.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Can you feel it? Wake up to today's quest with Annie on Today 95.1 FM from 6 to 11 a.m. weekdays. Fantastic.
Real talk.
Real talk.
But
It is the head that is supposed to push the followers.
Today 95.1 FM, we bring you insights, intrigues, and happenings on the local politics of the Niger Delta.
But if that property you have somewhere worth that 1 billion is tied to a fraud of state money, if you can prove it's your personal money, you didn't commit any crime.
Join us every weekday, 9:45 a.m. to 11 a.m. Real talk. Keeping it real.